Hello and welcome to the What's the Crack Irish Bodybuilding Podcast, PCA Review Edition, everybody's favourite episode. Before we start, I want to say everybody that's watching this, please like, share, subscribe, because I leave that at the end and then nobody does it, and follow along because we've been putting out some pretty good content and this is the best of it. I'm joined again by James Melville and Nadia as well. Like obviously they've been on the last few times. Massively, massively appreciate them coming on and give great feedback. Guys, thank you.
Awesome. It's great to be here. And yeah, what a show it was.
Yeah.
It was a privilege to judge that. I thought the standard across the both shows in the same day. And that's the first time I think that I've ever done that. So that was a challenge, but it was really, really good quality.
Yeah, it was. We love a natural show as well. Like we obviously had the naturals for the first time last year, and we saw the exact same thing again this year where they just really brought the condition, the muscle, and it's a sick show. So we've got another one later on in the year. So I'm really excited about that as well.
How did you find judging for such a long day? Like, did you?
It's actually it was okay. I thought it was fine. I think the only thing was obviously you're gonna always have like human error from time to time because it was so busy.
Mhm.
Me and James were sorting out the their sheets because we had people doing two classes. So then some of them had a different number for first class, a different number for the second show. But we handled it, didn't we?
Oh yeah.
Everyone got their feedback. And we really enjoyed it, and it was busy, and we like that. We want to see as many people as possible on stage.
It was
I
good
think
feedback from the show. Sorry, James, go on.
I think you have to, whenever you're judging it, you have to almost like think about the whiteboard and the show one, you're collecting the data, and then at the end of that, you have to wipe it clean and you go again. You can't look at it as one long day of judging. You have to really break it down, keeps your brain a wee bit fresher as well. Particularly, I'm in prep at the same time, so you can see feel the brain. And then I'm not the quickest typer. I'm not a QWERTY type of guy, but I'm giving the majority of the feedback, and I'm doing this. I'm okay at it, but you have to stay. The brain has to be really really sharp. Like
And everybody got their feedback as well already, I believe now as well.
yeah,
And
Yeah.
it's been a lot. I think that's been a big thing with the Irish PCA. The feedback with obviously you're doing a lot of it yourself, James, as well, writing it up. Like
yeah.
it's a lot more in depth. I think we can glean a lot more from it. And then obviously something like this goes a level above that too. The people have asked questions as well, so I will try a little bit to deem some of them in. But we're going to be busy tonight because, as we said, there's two shows to get through. And
Yeah.
we've got a little bit of photo picking to get through as well, I shall say. But we're going to do it.
And as always, before we get into it, the feedback is always, particularly whenever I'm trying to be a wee bit more personal with that, because the way that we have the feedback, we have some drop downs, and we're able to pick. We're the only sort of part of the PCA over here that actually has a personal note section where we actually put a little bit of extra information in there, and it's there to try and help because we want to elevate the level and the quality of all the athletes. But part of that just comes from just being honest with the feedback, so it's always coming from the right place. We're not people that think that we're like I'm judging competitors that are better athletes than I am, but you still have to. The criteria is always the same. You're always looking, can I give that person any criteria, a critique that's going to improve them in the short term and maybe improve them in the long term as well. So it's always coming from the right place.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, guys, what we're going to do is going to just jump in on this tonight, okay? Because we have, as we said, we're going to go through quite a lot and give our best to actually give, as James says, critique to everybody, no matter how good you are. So I'll just share my screen. Right. So we're going to start with junior bodybuilding class. So this was your junior bodybuilding class for the first timers. We're going to work through the first timers and then we're going to work through the naturals after that. So decent sized class always is with the junior bodybuilders.
Yeah. I thought this was a great class, to be honest. I was really buzzing. Like, because the juniors are normally the first ones that come out. And it's always sick to see the juniors because you always see so much potential and you can almost envision what that person's going to look like in a few years from now with a bit more time. And we thought this was a really good class, to be fair.
Yeah, we had Sean, the big guy in the middle, winning it.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
had Hayden in second. And then is this Pavel? I think this guy.
Pavel, yeah, came third.
And then we had the fourth and fifth Louis. I actually had three in this lineup as well, and I was pretty happy with it. Like, I felt like, well, again, looking at it, I was fairly happy with the. I don't think I disagreed with any really of the judging decisions with any of the classes this year so much.
Yeah, you're always going to have that. Sometimes people might disagree here and there with certain placings or judgings. And that's always going to happen because bodybuilding, to a certain extent, people always have their subjective opinion on what they like. And that does play a part in it. But generally, across the board, our judging is 90% of the time unanimous.
Mhm.
Um, Obviously, we don't discuss with each other who you're going to pick or who you're going to put there or whatever. We just make our own decisions, pass it down the line, and then it all gets tallied up, and that's how the placings are worked out. Um, but yeah, I thought this was a really good class. Obviously, like I said, we've got Sean, who came in first place. So shall we talk through him? Or do you want to talk through the top three? How do you want to go through it?
Let's go with the top three because there are so many guys tonight. It's unfortunate. We're probably not going to get everybody's feedback in, but if we at least go with the top three, I think that'd be good.
Yeah.
Yeah. James, do you want to start?
So if I think we'll start with third place then, will we?
Hmm.
Yeah.
So that is Pavel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I actually thought like he had good energy. There was a few sort of misdemeanors with the posing. You can see like even in that pose, like he's kind of leaning back out of it. You should be sort of hinging at the hip. One that brings more detail through the rec fem part of the quad. You get more detail from the quad, but it also brings he's quite a wide top line as well. Arguably, there's three of the guys that have very similar sort of clavicle width there. You can see in the photos, but he's kind of like leaning back out of it, which actually makes the top line look a little bit more distant, so therefore smaller. So there's a few posing things that could definitely be better. I thought so. The critique that he would have received was I really liked his quad separation, and I thought his tan was actually bang on the money. So his skin prep was very good. The tan and the quality from front to back was really, really good as well. The right amount of glaze, which is good. So the posing condition in the lower half, I thought was probably the standout, particularly from the front. You can see there are two, just probably the most separation of the quads out of everybody in the category. Um, I probably would have still said maybe a little bit more. Um, yeah, overall, yeah, most of the negative critique was transitions and posture in and how he's displaying his physique. So those are easily fixed.
Yep.
Yeah. One thing that we could actually share, which is a good posing tip for anyone, whether you're new or not, you've got to remember where the judges are in comparison to where you stood. So we are quite low down. So if you do lean back in a pose, then you do tend to hide a little bit of the roundness in your delts. So try to remember where the judges are, and you can almost angle your pose in towards the judges, and that can help a lot.
Yeah, I mean, my opinion with Pavel is like I could have seen him taking. I had Hayden, who's my client, in second, but I could have seen Pavel taking it if his posing actually just had been better because when he switched on his body parts, they were actually very separated, and it was the same. He was at NABA this past weekend. I seen him, and it was very much the same thing. His posing would be the thing that probably could have moved him up into second place because Hayden, my client, he isn't all the way in yet, and he has maybe a better structure and flow to his physique. He's nice fullness Hayden, but he didn't have the same level of separation. But he presented himself really, really well, which I think actually just nudged him up a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's bang on. I think that's probably the right critique. Again, I really like. You can see he's got a really nice X-frame from the front. Like everything looks pretty much proportionate from the front. For me, it was a conditioning
Hmm.
thing. I thought the top three there were actually of a very good standard. They're trading off strengths and weaknesses across the board there. But as you said, I think if he was a little bit tighter, um, and obviously he's doing more shows as well, Neil. Yeah,
He's another three to go, one next week, and then we've got another 4 weeks of prep. So he's 3 kilo down since that show there.
like he's not far away. That's where you kind of want people to be in the first show of their season. Within sort of striking distance. That then you just go through a refinement period of doing pretty much the same thing. And like you're the man guiding them in. You've a great team, and you always see your athletes improvement every time they walk on stage. So I'm really excited to see him at the next show.
Yeah. I think for Hayden, a really lovely physique, lovely shape, lovely structure, nice bubbly round muscle. You can tell he's got a good amount of muscle as well. So yeah, I think with a bit more condition, he has an awful lot of potential, like very, very good.
Yeah, yeah. And then our
Yeah,
winner,
and his stage presentation, from what I remember as well, was really good.
yeah, he flows very nicely. He does. He's quite confident. I like to see him sort of keep his head up a wee bit more. Sometimes he's looking down a bit shy, but first show, I found that be a lot of ones when before you go on stage the first time. And then we
Yeah,
had big Sean in first place. So Sean, like I thought he was, I had him as the winner in the class. He's a big structure, probably the most muscled overall. Again, I'd like to see him tighter coming through to these next shows with us, which was the plan. I discussed this with James earlier. Unfortunately, maybe Sean enjoyed himself a little bit too much after Derry after winning, but we live and learn.
Yeah,
that's they are juniors, so that they're going to learn a lot, aren't they? Still,
yeah, he's loads of potential, man. Like as soon as he walked out, you can see for me, like structurally, he was the kind of the standout in that category. Loads of muscle set. Again, it's just a conditioning thing, which will come hopefully with refinement and improved discipline.
Yes. Yeah. I was happy with that top three. I think that was like I was as I say, Pavel, the only thing I think he could have nipped it in the second just his posing. So, it'll be good to see him in the next few years because them quads are pretty gnarly as well already.
Yeah, like
Right.
hopefully we
in
see them
person.
all back
Yeah.
because I thought that top three was really good, and I'd love to see them back on stage again,
Yeah.
with a bit more time because they're only going to get better.
The other thing you have to factor in as well, like we don't know the exact age of these guys, looking at this screen. So like at 23 and under, and that can be anything down from there. Like, so you could have some of those guys that are maybe 3, 4 years behind in their journey. So factoring that into, I think the quality across all top five were very, very good and promising for the future as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right. What the way the photos have been sent over, guys, for they're watching, they're kind of a scramble. So we're gonna pick on a photo, and that will be the class that we talk about. So I believe this is the master's class here.
this Masters 50 plus. That was Norman, I believe.
Yes. He was very well conditioned, the winner. Very well conditioned, at that age. I thought very, very tight, nice but long arms, biceps were good as well. So yeah, he was good. I like his physique actually.
Yeah, I did. I thought as well, like, obviously, this we're doing the first timer show first, aren't we?
Yep.
So that's something we need to bear in mind as well, that all of these people are first timers, and just need to remind people of that. Like, these people have never stepped on stage before, which I think is sick. I love a first timer show. I thought this class was really good. Like you said, Norman, who came first, a crazy level of conditioning, a good amount of muscle. I thought for a first time on stage, I thought it was pretty sick.
And then we had Ian in second.
Yeah, I'm just scrolling down my list to just triple check these. Yeah, Ian came second. Um, I thought he had really good potential. Probably just a little bit more condition.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I think, like again, whenever you're thinking about first timers, and this is why I love the sport so much. You have like people coming into this sport in at 50 years of age plus, and I just think like there's no other sport like it. We're a privilege to be able to have access to that. But the thing that the older guys bring is this sort of crazy level of obviously muscle maturity, years of just beating away, like probably just training in the gym, and maybe have had this idea bouncing around in the brain of walking on stage, and then seeing these two guys walk out, I just thought it was class. But I completely agree with what Nadia said there about the sort of conditioning. There's pros. The, the conditioning is always going to be an issue quite often in a lot of the first timer categories. So you have to sort of take it for where it is. But hopefully, if these guys continue to push on, you're going to see improvement in both of them as well.
Yeah, Ian has good legs there too. If they were in a bit more, uh,
Yeah.
he could do very well. It's just as you said. I know Ian. He picked up shingles 2 weeks out, which didn't help things. Sort of set him back a little bit. But I'm looking forward to seeing him back in next year because I think he's got the bug for it now. So I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to that.
I
Yeah,
mean, you can even see in that picture, like you can see the quad detail starting to come through. So I don't think he's too far off. But fair play to him for cracking on and finishing his prep, even though he was ill. Like, that's
John,
hard graft.
right? John Black. Not sure what class this is. Oh, this was a classic, I believe. This was a
John,
big class.
John Black. Is it?
Athlete number 17. I think this was
Two.
this is
Mr. Class under 178.
yeah, so we've got bodybuilding short. Am I
Yep.
correct in that?
What
Yep.
I think
Yeah.
was there short, medium, and tall? I think this was the medium class, if that's the case.
No, we only had short and tall.
Yeah, short then. Happy days. So
Yeah,
pretty strong class this, in my opinion. I think this
it
was one of
was.
the best classes of the first timers show, certainly in the meal
Yeah,
classes anyway.
yeah, it was. So this was Marcin, am I right?
That's
Hmm.
it. Yep.
Who came first, yeah.
He did.
Yeah. I thought he was really good, to be honest. Nice shape, nice structure, a good level of condition. He probably could do with a touch more condition from the back. I think I might be remembering that wrong, but that's off the top of my head. James, you can back that up, or because we're looking at the front photo here.
Yeah. I said actually in the personal feedback was it was a phenomenal package. The condition only needs a touch. And this is why it's important for us to have the personal feedback section because if we say condition, that's kind of just a generic term. Oh, they need to improve condition. How far are they off? I think the opportunity just to be able to write in there that it only needs a touch and the posing could also be better. So those are things that can be fixed like that as he moves forward. Um, and I says, yeah, a great start once again.
He looks a little bit older too, in terms of that like muscle density that was there.
Yeah, he does.
I
He
thought there
seems
was,
to have quite good maturity in his muscle.
even through the hamstrings, they were pretty good. Oh, again, there's always a little bit more condition, but they're kind of coming out at you compared
Mhm.
to maybe like, for example, the second place, Andy Ross, is a guy that's in my gym. That was one of his questions: is why didn't he win? So that was kind of that's a fair question, for him.
What number was he? Andrew, number 14. I really liked his physique. I thought he had nice shape. From the top of my head, I think his posing was quite good. You've got to bear in mind as well, we had two shows and this was like over a week ago, so I'm recalling all of these from my memory. But I remember on the day really, really liking his look and really liking his physique. I think the winner was a little bit more conditioned than what he was, and I think that's probably what pushed the winner over. Um, but yeah, I think he's got a lovely physique.
When I looked at it for what it's worth, I'm not the judge, like for what it's worth though, like I felt that Martial just had a little bit more fullness with that alongside that condition. Like I've seen Andrew like slightly fuller at points, but he was tight, but just didn't have the fullness pushing through. Like he looked good in the side shots, the side legs very good, the chest was fairly full, but I've seen it fuller.
Yeah.
So I think wasn't a lot in it. And then my feedback to him when I seen him at the gym was when he was posing he doesn't have the deepest separated abs, and he was kind of
Yeah.
starting to stomach breathe a little bit, and
Yeah.
it can throw the pose off quite a lot. Then, especially for
Yeah.
something a little bit more like myself, more up and down.
Yeah. And this is something that we always do touch on, like midsection control. And it's something that we heavily touched on in our posing workshop that we had not long ago for the males. Because when you are that little bit bigger, it becomes more important to focus on your breathing. Um, so if you let that go, it can make a big difference in your placing and your presentation overall. So the top tip for that is going to be just practice your posing rounds and practice breathing through your posing rounds, and try not to breathe out through your stomach like that. Because you've got to control it through your transitions as well. Because if you do let it go and you're watched the whole time you're on stage, so it does get seen.
And to me, that's the thing about photos. Sometimes they can sometimes be a little misleading as to what you're seeing in front of you on stage. Because when you're moving, when you're transitioning, when you are breathing in the shot, like yourself in a gym shot, it's very easy to look bang on because you take that picture as you want it. But like that moving through your pose, that's what you're seeing on the day.
Yeah,
Can
yeah,
we
I agree.
number three, Jonathan? I think he came third. This guy in the far right.
Uh, the
Yeah.
third place was John Black. Um, can we look at the front on photos of these again, please?
Yes, my laptop's running at a massive pace here. There we go.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Um, sorry, James, go on.
Like as soon as he walked out, you kind of seen like sort of structurally smaller than all the other guys on stage, which isn't bad, but it's always important to pick, I think, your category right. Sometimes it's maybe not picking the category that you want to do, but the category that you should do. And I sort of thought like he would probably have done really well in classic. His condition was really good, and actually for the most part, I thought like his presentation was good. He stayed tight again. Like some of the other guys weren't keeping the midsection tight and controlled in transitions. I thought he had like good engagement. You can see like he stayed on the legs as well, like pretty much throughout. Overall, just because of the proportions, I thought he probably could have, done quite well in classic. So that might be something that he would maybe
It's funny you say that, James, because I was at NABA this weekend and he won classic.
That's funny. I remember him on the day, because like James said, nice structure, good level of condition. I think from memory, his stage presentation was quite good. And I remember I was sat next to James and I looked at James and I said, classic? And he was like, yeah, classic. Like, and Warren said it as well, actually, that he said, oh, he'd be quite good in classic. So it's not a surprise that he's gone and won a classic class.
Yeah.
So maybe that's the feedback. It's just, continue to come into that classic class because actually, James, it reminds me a little bit of you early days in terms of that smaller stature on stage. Obviously, you blew that up a bit, but since then, but there's a sort of significant little bit of resemblance there in my eyes, anyways.
Yeah.
Right, we will go to Dara Lafferty. I believe he may be the bodybuilding tall class here, actually.
Yeah, bodybuilding tall. So Dara won, and then I think it was a fella called Stephen came second. So that's your overall bodybuilding overall there.
It was a two
Overall lineup.
class, was it?
If you scroll up, there was just two of them. Yeah,
We'd have to go with the winners' medals for this one.
yeah. So Dara, I thought Dara had pretty good condition. My main thing for Dara was I think he looked a little bit flat to me. I thought he could have come in a little bit fuller, but the main thing was he wasn't posing his lats as well as he could do. That was the only bit of feedback that I had for Dara personally. But condition was quite good. This was actually a good class, even though there was only two of them. I thought they were both quite good. The fella who came second, I think he needs a little bit more condition through his lower. But that's off the top of my head for those two. I don't know if we have any pictures of them from the back.
Have a quick look here.
Yeah, I'd said the same about Dara. Like I thought, just more from the back. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if hamstrings were pretty decent there. Just maybe more like it might. I feel there was a little bit of there's a development thing as well through that like lower lat and mid back to just get a little bit more actual, and that will come with time as well. So as much as there was a condition thing, I sort of felt it was more just like a development as much in the lower lat.
Yeah.
Without a doubt, you can see the glutes and the hamstrings are dug in there. That's really, really cool, man. For particularly a first timer.
Yeah.
So good to see.
You can see the difference almost in condition from lower to top there, where he looks really tight in his lower, but not as much so in his upper. But I don't know if you have any photos of his back relaxed, because that was the one pose that I was like,
yes,
yeah, that was the one pose that I was like, he could do with he's got a big back. You can see it really well in his there's a back lat spread there. He's got a really big back, and you can see it in his back double bicep, but in his back posing, he wasn't hitting his lats. So that was the only feedback that I would have given Dara personally. And yeah, other than that, I thought he's a great bodybuilder, great first showing. And like we said, like the condition through the hamstrings and glutes was really good. So yeah, I don't know, James, if you wanted to add to that.
Yeah, I just think it's a time thing. He's got really good potential. Like even that you can see there at the side leg, he's got quite nice thickness in through there. I thought like he looked harder, which is kind of weird. Like you don't see that too often, like harder through the glutes and hams than he did through the quads. And that was one of the feedback, some of the feedback that I'd actually given him. But I would have said presentation, I thought could have been a wee bit better, particularly in the back shots. That's what I'd sent him. Touch more condition through the abs and quads would create a very balanced look.
Yeah, I would agree with that one.
Can we touch on Stephen?
This is Stephen. Yes,
Stephen McGee?
he actually had photos there too. That was in second.
Yeah.
There it is. Yep.
So
I think his time was quite light
Mhm.
next to Dara's. I don't know
yeah,
whether he could have done with a little bit more, like an extra coat or something. I think that would have made him pop a little bit more.
there's a yeah, I completely agree. I think the Tam was one of the things I had said to him that it needs to be a bit darker. I said there's loads of potential here. Um, I did a typo there, but yeah, I'm sure he gathered what I was saying in anyway. But I says the upper body looked great. He needs a bit more development in lower. There's also, remember last year we talked about trunk positioning.
Hey,
You're, you can see there because he's quite long. He's longer through the torso than he is through the lower. Does that make sense?
yeah.
He definitely get them trunks made to fit. Um, Shout out to Belle Bikinis. She gives me sorts mine out. You go down, you get measured. If she's got the time, obviously she's very busy, but investing in your trunks, and it's probably the same price as what you're going to pay off some internet thing, which you don't know the exact size. Getting them made to order can make all the difference. So the couple of things that he could have fixed to improve his overall look was tam and trunks,
Yeah.
and that gives him another 5% on the overall look without a doubt. So loads of potential.
I thought this class, these two, both have a lot of potential, and the feedback that we're given for both of them as well is stuff that they can improve between now and their next show as well. Which is always beneficial because that's stuff that they can apply now.
Right. We will go on to. Have we got another bodybuilding class in there? We got a body. We got a classic
We've
bodybuilding.
got classic, yeah. We only had one classic class, I think,
Right. So
in
this.
first
Yeah.
timers.
I believe Dylan went on to. Is this correct? Dylan went on to win the overall. So these were the two guys
Yeah,
in this class. Then good class as well.
it was a good class.
Yeah. James, you're the classic man.
Oh, what number? I know Dylan there. Let's see.
Uh, Dylan was number 5,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and Jordan was number 4.
Cool. Yeah, let's start with Jordan.
Yeah.
Jordan. Yeah, I think you can just see there. It's harsh to critique. Whenever you've two athletes and somebody places second, they can kind of misinterpret that as placing last sometimes, and sometimes that is the case. Somebody's just really good and somebody's not. The two of these guys are actually very, very good.
Mhm.
So we'll have to get that right. You've earned your second place trophy, and even if there had been probably 5, 6 other people, that most likely would have been a position you could have took anyway. So take it for what it is. I says, nice. Um, what's his name? Yeah, yeah. Great package. Would like a touch more quad sweep long term, and just short term a touch tighter through the back and hamstrings, more the lower, as you can see there. Uh,
Yeah.
but I thought he looked great. Like you can see the density in the back and stuff. Like the boy's doing a lot of work there, which is great to see.
Yeah. I agree with what James is saying there. I loved this class. I thought both of these lads were really, really good. And it was one of those classes where you're like, fucking hell, when they walk out, you're like, yeah, this is a good one.
Yeah,
Both had really good condition. They did battle it out, do you know what I mean? And that's what we love to see, like. But yeah, I'd agree with him. I think from memory on the day, is it Dylan?
Yep.
Dylan was just a little bit harder through the hamstrings. So every time they were hitting those back shots, it was really standing out. Um, but yeah, I thought both really good classic bodybuilders there.
And obviously Dylan went on to win the overall, which we'll just touch on obviously at the end. But if you were to give some critique to Dylan, I liked his posing. I thought his posing routine as well was
I
very
thought his
good.
posing was fab. Yeah, I
So
really liked his posing. I thought his overall presentation was good. Like, and again, like we need to reiterate here, first timers.
yeah.
So to have that kind of presentation on stage as a first timer is really, really like great to see. I love when people come on stage and you can tell that they've put a lot of time and effort into their posing because you do stand out. Um, But yeah, I thought he had lovely shape, good presentation. The tan was really nice from what I remember as well. Um, so yeah, that's all I can really say about Dylan. I think he's got a good potential for the future.
He's very polished. That's what I'll say.
Yeah.
From his posing to his stage
Yeah.
presence to his coloring, like to the trunks,
I
like
think he just needs to continue building on what he has. That's all I could say. Just keep building on what he's got and just keep bringing that little bit more, a little bit more.
Yeah, he had come up to me after the show and sort of asked if direct sort of feedback at the time. Generally, we don't have time to that. I was actually on my way to go to the toilet, the little boys' room, but and he had sort of asked, and I'd said more like literally more density in his glutes.
yeah,
Because as I said, it looked that whenever the development is like that, the appearance, his hamstrings were dug out
Yeah.
and the condition wasn't translating in the glute. So it's a tissue thing. It's not a conditioning thing because that's not how that would work. So I just says like more time doing glute stuff just to polish that back look. His presentation was really good. Such a nice flow. I thought the balance of his overall condition was really really clean as well. Just he's got a great future. Like if he sticks with it, he's it's time that he needs. Pro card would be on the table there. I think.
Yeah.
and
I
it's the
think as
best.
well for him, he really knows how to, like, obviously his presentation is good, but he knows how to pose
Yeah,
his physique because sometimes you'll see in classic people will hit the same poses as what they deem to be a classical pose, but it might not necessarily suit. And I think he knew what poses to hit that made his physique really pop and suited him really, really well. Like that pose we've seen there, where he kind of had his one leg sort of in front. It just really made his legs pop, and I thought, yeah, he knew how to pose his physique, and it was really good.
Yeah.
best job he could have done at this time, I think, without just adding more muscle tissue in certain areas.
Yeah,
Did we have anybody in the Masters 50 plus class or
that
40?
was Norman.
Sorry, 40 plus.
Um,
I think that's two.
yes, we had two. I remember them.
I
Yeah.
will. I will have a look if you let me know their
I
names.
remember them. We
Well,
did have two. I don't know whether you have their photos or not, but
name me,
hopefully you do.
give me two names for them, and we'll see. You shout out if you see
Uh,
them.
number 9 and number 8, Tim and Carl.
Tim and Carl. If you see Tim or Carl here,
I
you
think that's in numerical order, so I feel like if
Yeah.
it's not at the top, oh no, maybe not. There's a 4 there.
That's over 40s. Yeah.
Tim or Carl. Come on, Tim or Carl. We're gonna. Oh, come on, boys.
So Timothy Lillyman or Carl Phillips.
I don't think we have their photos, unfortunately, on this
No,
one.
you'll have the winner in the class winners folder.
It's a tough job tonight, guys. 40. This would be, and there's the 50s.
I'm assuming maybe he hasn't. I'm assuming we're receiving the photos of athletes who've purchased their photos.
Surprising.
Um,
Don't have a
so
class winner.
if he hasn't bought his photo package, maybe that's why that his photo's not in here. Um,
Leave that
but
with me. We're going to try and find that. I'm going to try and find that on the Instagram page at towards the end of this, okay? Because it should be up the class 40 winner.
yeah,
We'll move on to toned figure, which was, I believe, one of your clients and eventual double overall champ as well, James.
Yeah.
So there we go.
do you want to start? Do you want me to start?
Yeah, you go for it.
So I'll start with Hesse. Obviously, Hesse went on to win the overall, and she also won the overall in the naturals as well. I thought Hesse has a lovely physique. You can tell she's got a good amount of muscle. The shape is there for figure. I think for Hesse, the only real feedback that I would have had for her was she maybe could have had a tiny, tiny bit more condition through her lower. But mostly, just a couple of posing critiques. The first one being obviously it's a first timer show and you're nervous on stage. But when she smiles, it made the biggest difference to her presentation. So I would say maybe smile a little bit more. But overall, fantastic physique, loads of potential. And every time she did smile on stage, it made me smile. Like, do you know what I mean? She had that kind of energy. But yeah, lovely physique and loads of potential for Hesse. Anything you want to add to that, James?
Yeah, I look. I'd said to her exactly the same thing. I'd only taken her over quite like within sort of 7 weeks there, and it was even coming in. I was like, we're not 100% where I would like the condition. I would like it a little bit tighter. I said, but I knew it was still going to be a nice look for her. So the key was then just make sure that the peak went well, and then the presentation. And it was like a lot of these guys are first timers, and it's although you can't not mark somebody on presentation because it's their first time. It's the same criteria, but that spotlight effect does hit different. Whenever you walk on, and it's you kind of just end up being this little robot moving through. So it is taking that time to take a breath and smile, which fortunately she did as the show went on.
Yeah. And you
But
could tell in the second show she was a lot more confident than she was in her first.
yeah,
Like she'd shaken off the nerves a little bit, which is also one of the things that's really good about being able to do both shows in a day if we do have to, because by the first one your nerves are kind of gone and then you're excited to get back on. But I just wanted to say that side tricep was my favorite shot of hers.
yeah,
And whenever we were doing like overall photos and stuff, I was like, get her to do that side tricep because she has really nice midsection, lovely abs. You can see the striations through her delts. And like I said, like what James said, she's not far off condition because what we need to remember as well is this is toned figure. And I think she is a really good example of the level of condition that we do like to see in toned figure in terms of her opera is bang on, I would say, for
yeah,
toned figure, and only a touch more off the lower but not much more than that. And this was a really good toned figure look.
yeah,
Yep, agreed. Midsection was very clean, really nice lines to her physique as well.
Yeah,
And again, it's one of them, like even the skin tone, the coloring, that side of stuff, like that always stands out to me is that kind of like polish on it. And that's what I'd seen with Hesse is just a bit more off the lower half for me. In second place, we had
Leanne, isn't it? Yeah,
yeah. Let me just yeah, Leanne in second. Um, I liked Leanne. I liked her look on stage. Loved the bikini. And I thought for her, she just needs to build on her size. I think her structure is there. I think she just needs a little bit more time to put size on in the right places. So just carry on building on what she's got.
yeah. I said like I actually really like her structure from the front.
Yeah.
It's the epitome of femininity, and so I think like proportionately, that's something that you can't train is like limb length, torso length, all those things. I think like from the front profile, she looks really really good. You would say maybe from a development standpoint, it's a little bit more in through the back, the posterior
Yeah.
side. But she has like really nice proportions. If she just the feedback that I'd given her was just continue to develop the muscularity on the foundation that she already has, and she will look amazing. I was
Yeah.
really really impressed with her actually. And short term, I'd say just push the condition a little bit more. You could see that from the back, but again,
Yeah, and for her, when she gets the muscularity, getting the condition will come a little bit easier because when you don't have a lot of muscle tissue, it is a little bit harder to bring condition without looking like it's too much. Um, I think she had a tiny waist as well, from what I remember, which is like what you want for figure. She starts to grow more on her back and her delts and her quads. That's going to look even more insane.
yeah,
interesting. It's nearly easier to land like that's some of the discussions I was having after. It's nearly easier to land the male classes, for the most part there in terms of like you're looking for condition, you're looking for size, and then it's like what does the structure look like as to where you go. With the female classes, like that's where having an eye on it and experience as well makes a difference as to how to like land your client within those classes correctly. I think that comes from experience of doing it and like actually being at the shows as well.
Yeah. Yeah, and obviously for us, like the more shows you judge, like you know what you're looking at.
Mhm.
And that might not be really obvious to someone who's never competed before, or even coaches who are quite new to the industry. They might not know exactly what it is. And that's why the best thing you can do is download the criteria off the PCA Ireland website and just try and get as close to that as possible. But you are right. I think sometimes for the females it can be a little bit harder because it's not just get as conditioned as possible. Sometimes it's actually the opposite of that.
Yeah. I mean, it's something even as a coach, like I'm, been doing it now a few years, but it's really the last few years becoming more of prominence. And it's something that I still do is like talk to other coaches, ask their advice and stuff. And I don't think there's any shame in that, that maybe newer coaches, don't be afraid to go and talk to the judges, go and talk to other coaches, get the feedback, because that's like how you get better at what we're trying to all do here.
Yeah, you can honestly DM me or DM James, and we'll happily give you feedback or chat to you or give you some tips or give you advice because that's what we're there for. Essentially, when we finish the show and we go home, that doesn't mean that that's it. Your feedback's been sent. You can't ask any questions. Of course you can, and we'll always answer. And I've had quite a few girls message me over the last week. They've already had their feedback, but they just wanted to ask a question or know a little bit more. And I'll always help if I can. And I know James is the same, like happy to ask a question. Just maybe not on the day when we have two shows back to back and we've only got 10 minutes to eat lunch because I had a few people stop me on show day when we had literally 10 minutes. I hadn't been to the toilet all day, needed a wee, and I kept getting stopped being like, can you just give quick feedback? I was like, I can't. Not right now. I need to fucking eat something or I'll eat James next to me.
Yeah.
But any other time, more than happy to help, like, and ask as many questions as you want.
Guys, athletic and trained figure. We had people in both of them, didn't we?
No, we only had one,
What was her
which
long girl?
Lorraine,
Ian,
I
right.
believe. I don't know if number 26.
I'm going to go to, these aren't numbered. I don't think now I'm looking at them. I'm going to go to the class winners because I think this will be in this. If I'm not, it is my bad. Da-da-da. Surely. I don't think there she is there. So that's
Yeah.
not in there.
She had a really good condition. You could tell she had good muscle maturity. I think for her, if she wants to, it's more of a long-term thing, just carry on growing on what she's got to build on her taper more than anything. So it's probably going to look a bit more like back. So I would focus on building that because it's just going to tie everything in a little bit better for her and just give her a little bit more of that cross frame structure. But her condition was really good. And like I say, you can tell she's got the density there, and a lot of potential as well.
Yeah, that's what I seen. I thought condition sort of stood out to me. And
Yeah.
it's sort of seen on Instagram coming in. There's a decent level of muscularity. Like if you look at the arms there, there's actually a decent level of muscularity on it too. It's just trying
Yeah.
to maybe like exaggerate that X frame a little bit more, which as you say is to me was just like a little more lat width to showcase that a little bit more.
Yeah. I think from memory there was a couple of poses where she wasn't flaring her lats as much. So maybe just work on posing a little bit and spend a little bit of time with that, trying to get everything as engaged and flared as possible. But yeah, that was the only feedback I would have had for her. I don't know if James has had anything different.
No, it was. That's why you try and explain to people back development improves most of your poses. Do you know what I mean? So even in your side poses, whenever you're sort of rotating, if you've got like density in the lats, you can see that in both male and female categories. But we can see there if just a wee bit more back density, a bit more back width is going to go a long way to improve the front and back. But nice separation, and I really really liked the conditioning. It looked like hard, yeah. So I just pretty much it said the same as Nadia there. Just a bit more back development would enhance that V taper from front and back poses, but everything else is pretty much there.
Yeah. Confidence as well. I feel like sometimes with the posture, it's very easy to like hide yourself. You're a little bit nervous. What I noticed with her was just trying to stand up a little bit like taller. But again, it's the first timers thing. Going on
Yeah.
under the lights for the first time. It's so daunting when you
That's
see
one of
the
the things
stage.
that we expect. We expect on a first timer show that some people are going to be quite nervous or maybe shaky in the legs or and at the end of the day we're okay with that. Like, we do understand it's first time and we do expect it like.
We're going to move on to what was the second half of that section of the show. So it's the physique classes. We have junior men's physique here. Uh, Second place was my client Ben, and then I believe you can't remember that. You know this guy's name? I should know it. Speaking to
Adam,
Adam, yeah.
so I'll I'll start with Ben. Obviously, I feel it was the winner deserved the win in terms of like muscularity through the chest, just a lot more muscle there going on. Ben's been with me now for about I think it was 9 months. starting from very limited training performance to here. So that was a big one for Ben. I like him a lot as well as a person, but I liked his condition. Thought it was tight. Thought it was fairly dry. Thought it had a wee bit more fullness. And like our big thing was, like, for the next few years, is trying to bring up the back development. Ben's just turned 20, so it's just a little. He needs more time just doing the actual bodybuilding as well, and is keeping his head screwed on.
Yeah. I thought they were both really good. It's always nice to see people in the class that really suit their class, if that makes sense. And I thought these two both really suited their class. They fit really well with the men's physique, and you can see the potential in there for them to carry on with men's physique. I think that the difference between these two was probably just more of like a size thing. Adam did have a little bit more fullness through the chest and delts, which obviously adds more to the overall men's physique look. But I thought they were quite similar in terms of their condition. Um, but yeah, I thought they were both quite good men's physique.
Yeah,
From
I thought your client was Ben, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah, I thought Ben's condition was marginally better, to be honest. Thought that he had a great look. Couple of young guys, good level of muscularity. Agree with you. Long term for Ben's just a wee bit more density through the back and a wee touch more in the chest. And I think that's a class little men's physique guy as he moves into sort of open categories and stuff as well. But he's plenty of time still in juniors. 20, did you say?
he just turned 20, so 3 years left to compete within the juniors, so he'll be fine.
That's absolutely bonkers. So you take that direction on board and you just go, right, program, execution with those movement patterns is going to help with that development. And then first place, Adam. Again, I thought his condition just wasn't as good, but you can see there he just had a bulk load of muscle front to back. I thought there was a few things maybe with the posing could improve a little bit in particular sort of transitions as well.
Happy, Nadia?
I'm
Yeah,
happy with that. Yeah.
that was a good class though. I like both them guys in terms of condition. They were, as you say, it's nice when you look at a class go, yes, that's men's physique, because often like sometimes with men's physique you can see boys maybe a little bit bodybuilder-esque coming down to do that. So it's nice to see that class like represent it well. What is this doing now?
Yeah, they definitely both have the structure that they need to carry on and progress through that. And that's a juniors class as well. So obviously, like you said, that you're allowed to, do you say he's just turned 19 or he's just turned
Turned,
20?
turned 20.
Just turned 20. Like so much time ahead of him. And if that's what he's like now at this age, it's only going to get better and better because he's got the shape and the structure that he needs, just needs to grow on it.
I believe now we have this is Masters men's physique tall, if I've got this right.
Yeah.
Masters men, not tall, Masters men's physique.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Um,
Solid class here as well.
This was from second to fourth was difficult because like a lot of those guys had like, sort of different strengths and different weaknesses. I think it was Craic that placed second, the guy on the far left.
Yeah, I believe so.
He was the smallest in terms of like frame out of everybody on stage, but he actually had really nice, clean condition.
Yeah.
The tan again looked really good, and you can see there even like he looked quite confident with most of his poses. And there's still like small indiscretions that you could maybe improve that a little bit more, but condition looked really, really good for him.
Looked very dry as well.
Yeah.
It was. I've seen Craic for. He was up at Bangor Gym Infinity when he was starting. He was carrying quite a bit of weight then, and then to see him that sort of finished product was like really impressed with his condition. I know he's a little bit. He's towards the older end of the masters class as well. So it had that like little bit of maturity when he hit his abs. Sometimes, even in this shot, actually, he's a prime example of it. I'd seen him sort of come off his abs too much, and people were shouting abs. As soon as he hit them, they were blocked out, but it's staying on them.
Yeah, I'd said he needs just a little bit more ab density. So the abs, like any other muscle, responds to hypertrophic stimulus. So like you can create a little bit more density in those, which actually makes it easier to present. I've heard this argument before. You don't need to train abs because if you're doing all your compound movements, and that is true until it's not.
Mm.
If you're doing all those like compound movements and you've got really good thick dense abs, then you probably don't need to hit them. If you don't have that quality, then you need to schedule that into your programming and use methods like progressive overload, mechanical tension, focus on over recruitment of the contraction. Do whatever it takes to develop the density in that area, and it improves that whole front and side look.
Yeah, good advice. Very good advice. I've been victim of that myself for a few years there.
So we can actually see the other two guys, third and fourth. They've actually loads of muscle there, more muscle than you can see. Craig's got in there with the condition, and it was just really nice and tight front to back. The other two guys, third and fourth, could easily, if they just got a lot, good bit harder, could potentially move up the ranks within that top four.
The winner is very good. Really nice, tidy, aesthetic physique. Well peaked, I would say. I'm not sure who was it? Mark Hudson, I think, coaches him. But to
I
me,
think he was pretty on the money.
yeah.
But one thing as well that stands out is his tan looked so good.
Yeah.
His whole stage look was really good. Posing was nice, good shape. Um, yeah, I think he just needs to carry on building on what he's got.
It's one of those, I've probably said it a few times tonight. Again, it just stands out and go, that's polished. Do you know what I mean? Like the package, you go, yeah, that's it. Everything
Yeah,
looks nice.
polished is a really good way to describe what he brought. I thought it was very polished, like
Well, that was the exact words that I used in his feedback.
polished.
Polished. Um, yeah, I think like he was a standout. Looked very very clean front to back. He's
Yeah,
he's got those lovely white teeth. I wish I had teeth like that. And whenever he smiled, I thought his stage presence was really good. I believe
yeah.
Emma works with him. Has done a really good job there. He just looked really polished. Nice condition front to back. Yeah, clean.
Can I ask about the tattoos? Is there some,
Yeah.
like, because I look at this shot and I'm going, without the tattoos, I'm sure that is absolutely, it's dense. You can see it rounding, but like, does that, I know it's amateur bodybuilding, but does that distract from the judge's eyes? Like,
It does if there was other people in the category that were competitive with him, then those little margins do make the difference. Like I've got tattoos as well, and I don't regret a lot of things, but I wish I didn't have them, particularly for the sport of bodybuilding. But like because that's like a massive back piece and it's so dark, it does take away because we're sitting close enough, you can see there's density there. But if that's beside somebody else and it's very, very close, that could be the thing that sort of nudges it the other way,
yeah. This is men's physique. Is this tall? I believe. I'm going to try and find short after.
Yep. Men's physique tall. So we had athlete number 34, Chris, in first, and then we had number 35, Rihad, in second, and then 33, Josh, in third.
We start with third in this one, Josh, then.
Oh shit, I've just done something there. Sorry. Yeah. Um, have we got individual photos or we just got the lineup of these ones?
Just the lineup of these guys. So I've got a few shots I can go through here.
Yeah, I actually thought he looked very, very good. Again, a touch more condition, like that. He's very, very close on that. I said like sort of long term improving the arms would complete an already great physique. Particularly, whenever you're doing sort of posing and the arms are away from the body, you can sort of see just a little bit more in the limb. I think like from a torso perspective, he actually looked really good front to back.
I thought that this was a really good class, to be fair.
Yeah.
The top three were all really good. They all had that sort of shape that we look for in men's physique in terms of like the chest, the delts, the midsections were tight. I thought this was quite a good class.
Yeah, and how do you rehard?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, Rihad or Rihad.
Yeah. So he's yeah, I'd say like lovely condition and exceptional back development. You could just see like he had a lot of density in through the back and stuff there as well.
Yeah.
Um, I'd probably in that pose though just depress the shoulders down, pull the shoulders down towards your back pockets a wee bit. See the way they're a little bit elevated.
Yeah.
That'll pop your anterior delt, but it's going to lengthen out all the sort of density in that lower back, which he definitely had in those lower lats. That's a small sort of critique there, just with the pose, and just depress the shoulders a little tiny bit there.
What was did you give any feedback on his posing, or what was his feedback on his posing? Because I think I remember that it was some of his poses that he wasn't maybe hitting as well as what he could, that
That
would
was
have been.
the big thing. Like I'd say, it's like overall muscularity, or sorry, overall body posture, and also the foot placement as well in the transitions. I think definitely, didn't allow him to perform his absolute best. So, but those are things that you could refine very, very easily.
Yeah, because I mean, you can see from the pictures, like they've all got really good physiques, and those are the kind of things that make the differences between first, second, and third. When you have three really good athletes, it'll always be those margins that make the difference.
Yeah,
I thought the winner, I can't remember his name, was excellent.
Chris,
Chris, like his
yeah,
midsection was just so men's physique. Like there's about I'm putting about 12 abs in there, and into
yeah, yeah, yeah.
the like
All the abs.
and the
chest.
abs and night are nice and symmetric.
Yeah, it's very men's physique. Like I think he can be like he can really move up the levels as well. Like
Great.
my only thing I looked at was I'd seen him the night before and thought, oh, this is people are in trouble today when he comes in. Was like actually just a little bit more arm for men's physique because it is such a big Freeman muscle group and he is quite long and tall. Just a little bit more through the arm, and that's like to me like a real you could push PCA pro levels with a little bit more through here and through the arms.
Yeah, I'd agree. He's got that potential, definitely. Nice tan. I think his posing was quite good. Like good stage presentation overall. Yeah, like a really good men's physique athlete. And I think he's self-coached. I think he coached himself.
Which is very impressive as a first timer as well.
Yeah, yeah,
The
yeah,
head tends to go before you get to stage, if that's the case.
yeah. I could never coach myself. My head would fucking fall off. I'd turn up like a little string bean and I'd do cardio till my eyes fell out.
Right, I'm gonna find short. Shout me a couple of names in short, and if you see it, holler.
Short men's physique.
Yes.
Junior. Calvin was the winner, number 29.
Calvin. Is there a Richard Zorans there?
No, that was that was who came third. A second, sorry, was it second or third he came in the
Yes.
all class?
Second.
Second.
I
Yeah,
don't
second.
see a I don't see a Calvin. What am I
We
trying
have
to-
Calvin and Felipe, athlete number 30.
We might just have into the class winner. There's
There he
Calvin.
is.
Oh,
Yeah.
there we go. So this was men's physique short, and I'll just another good
I
physique there.
keep losing where I am on the sheet. I'm trying to find their names and the numbers to match it. Yeah.
Felipe was second.
Yeah. I thought he had nice condition. I think he just needs to continue to grow, but I thought it was a nice look
The
from a healthy.
the tan hurt him as well a wee bit. Like that's
Oh, sorry, I was talking about the winner.
the
I was
winner.
talking about yeah, I was talking about the winner. If are we talking starting with second place, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, sorry, continue. I would agree with you on the tan there. Yeah.
Yeah, tan definitely needs those again are easy fixes. Again, the trunks, you can see the shorts sitting probably a little bit lower than you would like. Make sure that obviously the shorts fit, and if there's a drawstring, try to keep them in place. You don't want to have to be hooking at those as you're sort of transitioning as well. But yeah, definitely a little bit darker on the tan would show more of the detail that he has.
and
Yeah.
to be a wee bit sharper. He can be, especially through the midsection, more so on the front poses, and trying to get a little bit more of an X frame, I suppose, into that like upside down triangle. So like bringing the delts up a little bit, bringing the chest up. There's potential there because there is muscle there in certain areas. It's just
You can
refined.
tell he's got a good amount of muscle, yeah.
Just refinement. Because when you compare it to the winner in terms of how small and narrow his midsection is, like right into the very bottom, it's a really, again, like it's a very nice men's physique athlete. It's just, again, like you said, I think Nadia at the start, it's just more size with that to keep on moving up those levels.
Yeah, so I thought the Calvin who won, I thought he had a good level of conditioning, a nice look for men's physique. I think he just needs to put on a little bit more size. Probably in like obviously you can see there like um just a little bit more fullness to his top line. I think his back as well. But just growing on that, he definitely fits the class. He's definitely got the right structure, like you say, in the tight midsection. Um, and just to grow on what he's got.
And the condition looks fairly good as well.
Yeah,
Again,
yeah.
more muscle will help bring out that condition, especially through the lats and lower lats and into the mid back.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I have nothing to add. That's pretty much it. Tom was good. Felt just a wee bit more development from the back. That'll come with time. Just doing a lot of the right things, and yeah, I thought condition was really really nice.
Right, we have wellness now. I was up in this earlier. Do we know of a wellness name there?
You've got Courtney, athletes 41 through till 45 were wellness.
These aren't the numbers though of them. These are
They
just the
are,
names.
that's their stage numbers.
Definitely.
Yeah, yeah, 100%, yeah.
That would have made it easier. I finally tried on. I just disregard it.
Did you not notice then that
I
the
was like,
stage
all right,
numbers, that's what
Nadia,
we were trying to match?
let me do my job. Right, there we go. We're here now. Right.
Oh, fuck's sake. That made me laugh.
That made it way easier. Right. So, wellness, big class, good class as well.
James, I'll let you take the lead on the wellness.
Oh, thanks. Let's look at the placings then. So we have Lauren Hoy in third place, number 43.
Good.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, I actually thought that her condition was really nice. Nice presentation as well. Very, very confident look. I think that's her in the middle.
Yes. As
Yeah, the blonde girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought her presentation looked really polished. Again, first timer, you're kind of watching people like that, and she just looked, she went through
She was
everything.
really confident, wasn't she?
Yeah. Um,
She had the best condition I remember on this lineup.
yeah, I'd say like strengths were like, should good glute roundness, excellent condition, great stage presence. There was areas for me that just need a wee bit more development to sort of balance out her physique. She's got quite a big rib cage as well. So when it like for her structure, and you can see that sort of more in the front poses and the side poses here. You can see,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
Whereas which can, if it's not presented perfectly, can make that sort of the midsection look a little bit thicker, which will take away some of that the flow of the silhouette, if that makes sense. You can kind of see some of the other guards that are slightly smaller in that sort of mid area.
Yeah.
So it's just working on the sort of presentation.
Yeah. Try not to flare when you're keeping your midsection tight. What a lot of people can do, particularly in bikini, is they tend to flare the rib cage, and you can actually compress your rib cage as opposed to flaring. So trying to work on like compressing as opposed to doing a flare when you're trying to keep your midsection tight, you can actually make a bit of a difference in that.
Yeah. Second, was this girl here? Second here in the
Yeah.
red?
Second was Susan Allward.
Can I say this was very close, this class?
It's a
Um,
toss between them three for sure. You could go back either way with that.
I was back and forth between these three top three girls. Is it Susan? I thought from memory, I thought she had good level of condition. You could tell she had a good amount of muscle. It was the posing for me that needed a little bit of work. I think if she could pose her physique a little bit better, then I think it will make a difference. We don't want to see too much forward lean, and we do tend to see this in wellness. A lot of girls tend to lean quite a lot into their poses, so you want to make sure you're stacked on top of your hips, and not leaning too far into the pose, if that makes sense. James will probably confirm that as well.
Yeah, without a doubt, 100%. That is obviously the theme with wellness, that sort of front leg and then that sort of lean over, because it creates that illusion of like the narrower waist if the position is right, but too much it can kind of take away from the flow of top to bottom. With Susan, I'd say is like a very good quality athlete, and I like the top three was difficult. You know, I was kind of moving between them a little bit as well at the beginning. I did think that Susan could have slightly better condition. Again, it doesn't need a lot, but slight improvement there would definitely polish the look a little bit more. And that's what I mean. It was top. It was tight between all three in that top three. So those placings could easily go a different day with a few small tweaks. Could eat third place could place first. First place could, you know what I mean. So, three really good athletes are.
And then
Yeah.
number one.
Courtney.
Yeah, Courtney.
I remember these because I posted all of the winners' photos, so I remember everybody's name for who won. So I posted winning interviews, winning photos, so I had everyone's names etched in my memory. I liked her look. I think she has potential to continue to grow into wellness. I think she just needs to continue to develop on what she's got. Once she's developed in terms of muscular development, then her physique will then allow her to get more conditioned to show that a little bit better. I think she could have been more conditioned, but she fit the class nicely.
I find that the case in a lot of the younger female athletes, especially, is trying to get that level of hardness. It comes with time, and sometimes trying to chase that with particularly the younger females, it's like you start to lose elements of the physique as well. So like I find just with time that tends to come that level of hardness, that you know, that more maturity with the physique itself.
Yeah. Yeah, the thing is, well, you've got to think like with females getting conditioned through the legs, you've got to push a lot of body fat off. The legs and the lower half is what tends to come last. So with wellness, to carry that condition, you need to have a good amount of muscle in your lower to get a good level of condition as well.
I would just like to finish off with the two girls in fourth and fifth.
Yeah.
They're actually both of them had actually really nice structures for the wellness category.
I would agree.
I didn't want to move on without mentioning this, like just talking about the top three. Literally, it was conditioning that you can
Yeah.
see was the main critique for both of those female athletes. And again, that is fixable this season. You know, if they get the heads down and just push that a little bit more, they could be very, very competitive as well. I think like all the top five were actually a really good standard. So just didn't want to give props to the top three there.
Yeah, I'd like to say the girl in the blue bikini, what's her number? 42.
Two.
Um, Gabby, the second girl there, I thought her posing was lovely on the day, and she had a really nice overall look. Like bikini posing presentation was fab, and you can tell that she again fits the class quite nicely. She just needs to continue to develop on that.
Yeah. Right. We will go into junior bikini, which is number
46, 48, 61.
oh, so much easier. There we go. Right.
I was wondering, I was like, what's he doing? Why is he scrolling down so far?
I was panicking, girl. I was panicking. Right.
This was a good class.
Yeah, strong class. These junior girls, like the junior guys, the junior girls are really bringing the heat this year, I think, the last couple of years.
Yes, 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 100%.
Yeah, a few really good competitors here. We had, this was obviously our winner here and our overall winner from both
Yeah,
shows that day.
both shows, yeah. And
Third,
then third, number 48 and number 46 was second.
yeah.
Yeah, so Rachel in second and Tamazin in third. And then we've also got Rosie in is athlete number 60.
Now, you start as in the bikini girls.
Shall I start? Do you want me to do three to third place, second place, first place? Do you want me
Yes,
to do it that way?
let's go that way.
So in third place, we had Tamazin. So I thought she had a lovely look overall. Nice presentation. I think she needed a little bit more condition.
Mhm.
But overall a nice look for bikini. And I think she has potential definitely in the bikini class. I think she just could have done with a little bit more condition.
Yeah,
Agreed.
tan and condition.
Yeah, you can tell normally when you look at the group photos. So see the girl to her left, like her tan is just darker, and I think maybe she needed a little bit of glaze, to be fair.
Yeah. So like,
Yeah. And like I say, like those little things do tend to stand out. The tan. But yeah, I think she had a nice potential. And then in second place was Rachel. Is it Rachel?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Rachel.
Second place. I loved Rachel's look. Um, I think she has a lovely physique. Um, nice balance. I think she just needs to develop her physique, continue to develop her physique. And then I think for her, just a couple of things with her posing. So when you're doing bikini posing, what we tend to see quite a lot is arms can travel too high, and you've got to think about like we're looking for a bit of a cross frame here, the balance from top to bottom. If your arms are quite high, it can throw your shape off a little bit. So I'd like to see her arm placement just be improved a little bit. But you can see here like nice development in her back, a nice level of condition. She could just do with just improving on what she's got, continue to develop her physique.
yeah, she had a nice physique. She had a good physique. As
Yeah.
again, it's a wee
She had
bit
a
more
lovely midsection. I think she had a really nice midsection from what I remember on the day.
Yeah,
side. Good.
I'd say it's just a wee bit more development in the glute, like that's the sort of long term. But I thought that that was a good, nice battle. There was good contrast between the top two in particular there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then our winner.
Our winner chicken dinner. So Megan went on to win the overall, and then she also did the naturals after the first timers, and she won the overall there. Um, I thought she had a lovely, just overall package. Posing was gorgeous. Her presentation was fab. She was confident on stage. She transitioned really well from one pose to the other. Her time was nice, and I just thought from top to bottom she was really balanced. Nice physique, a good amount of muscular development, especially for a junior bikini. So not just first timers, but these girls are also juniors as well. Um, yeah, I just thought overall look was fab, and I think she's got a lot of potential in bikini. And she just needs to carry on doing whatever it is that she's doing, and continue to grow on this. And obviously, there was two overall wins, so that says a lot about what she brought for as a junior athlete, especially. Yeah, fab.
Structure as well, I think it's excellent.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
bikini doesn't have
The
that.
shape and the balance top to bottom was nice, and you can tell a lot like when she hit her front pose. Small waist, nice lats. The shape was just yeah, really nice.
And
Yeah,
yeah,
Go on, James. Do you want to add to that?
you've summed it up perfectly there. I thought she was just really high quality competitor. Deserved everything that she got, and great future. As I said, once again, like junior, that's incredible. Keep working.
Yeah. I remember her from she was at the posing workshop actually. And I remember seeing her that day and thinking, oh, she's got a lovely physique. And I didn't realize it was her on the day until afterwards when I was going through everyone's doing all my Instagram posting and had seen a photo of her from the posing workshop because everyone looks different when they're on stage with a tan.
Yeah,
But I do remember her from the posing workshop. And I remember thinking then she had a quite nice posing and a nice physique.
I love when obviously you're seeing your client or before they're on stage and they're sending the check-ins at like 4:30, 5 in the morning, wrecked straight out.
Yeah.
And then they come back from the makeup, the hair and the makeup, and you don't even recognize them anymore. It's such a drastic difference. Such a
I used to love Show Day Glow Up because I'd live like a troll under a bridge for approximately 20 weeks, and then on show day I'd be like, guys, I've arrived for one day only, and then I'm back to being a troll.
Have we got but Masters 35?
Yeah, I thought from what I remember, this was a good class as well. 49, 50, 51, 52.
Yeah, strong class. I think it was a combination of the 35 and then the 45 in
Yeah.
well. 35 is a strong class. We'll do the 35s first, then we'll touch on the 45. Yeah, this was a good class. Yeah, really strong class actually.
Yeah, so I believe 49 won, 50 came second, and athlete number 58 was in third.
Yep.
Off the top of my
Correct.
head.
Yep.
James, do you want to start with this one? Because I feel like I've talked a lot over the last two classes.
You nailed the bikinis for sure.
You're the female.
Yeah, go on then. Right, so our winner, Natasha, she
Mhm.
had really nice condition. Firstly, I thought her overall look was fab. Um, like as in just the look in general. I like to see like I like the bikini. I thought her hair was like nicely done. Tan was really good. And yeah, her posing was good as well. I thought she just had a nice overall look. Um, I don't know whether James, you want to add anything to that?
Is that the winner?
The winner, yeah.
Yeah, she had a really good look about her. I thought Tam was really good. And it complemented the color of the hair and stuff as well. I thought it was like overall nice look. Uh, Deserved the category win for sure.
I
Yeah,
mean,
I agree with that.
quite a lot of muscularity there.
She was, yeah.
When does that, and this is just me, like when does that become too muscular? How close are we there to go and we're moving into the next classes? Because to me, that was quite, when you look at the rest of it comparatively, and this is no knock on her whatsoever. I thought she's an absolutely incredible physique. I loved it. But is it close to virgin?
If she wanted to further develop her physique in terms of muscularity, she could definitely do train bikini. I think she wasn't quite there yet, particularly in her lower. She needs to grow on that. But if that's something she wanted to do, she's got the maturity in her muscle to be able to achieve that level of condition and push her condition further, I think, to get to train bikini. But I don't think she wasn't bikini. Do you know what I mean? I don't think we didn't look at her and go, she's definitely trained bikini or needs to be
Yeah.
moved.
No,
Yeah.
I thought she was like on it.
Right.
Like in terms of that, I thought like the condition was there. She wasn't like over muscled.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I thought that was pretty good.
You've got to remember as well, like Masters bikini, we do generally tend to see the girls in Masters have a little bit more muscle maturity, so therefore do tend to come in sometimes a little bit leaner, or they do look a little bit more mature in terms of their muscle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think if she wanted to carry on and continue to push her physique, she could progress to that. But I don't think she was there yet.
So what we have to clarify here in these photos is the lady on the far right is Jo,
Yeah.
and she wasn't in this category, so it was like the four here were the ones in this actual category.
Yeah. We'll move on to Sadie. Sadie came second, so Sadie is athlete number 50.
50
Yeah.
Yeah,
I absolutely loved Sadie's look. I really, really did. I think I remember when this class finished, I was saying to James, like, I love that girl. I think she's absolutely lovely. Um, I thought her posing was nice. I thought she had a lovely structure. She just needs to continue to grow on what she's got, I think. She could have been a tiny bit more conditioned, I think, from what I remember. But I thought overall she had a lovely look.
yeah. Like physiques are always about balance, So sometimes it's just a little slight increase in muscle size in a specific area. I just said, just make sure I've got the right one here. I think I
Just
do.
realized I've been sat in the dark for I don't know how long.
Yeah. Um, I actually says just a wee bit more muscle in the glute, and a little small bit on the legs would complete the look. I thought she had a very strong package, to be honest, front to back.
Yeah.
Small little improvements are will.
It was very close for me between first and second place. I was back and forth a little bit between the two. I thought they both had really nice structure. They both had a good level of condition. They both presented themselves well. So yeah, I loved the looks.
And then number 58 was in third in this class.
Yeah. Um, my feedback that I had written was I would like to see the physique look less lean
Hmm.
and more full. For me, like the physique looked over dieted.
Yeah,
To the like you can kind of sometimes you can see whenever somebody is pushed condition, and the physique starts to look a little bit stringier as well. You can kind of tell there's been muscle potentially been metabolized during that period where they've tried to get ready for the stage. So for me, I felt that the look was too extreme for the category. If she was able to sort of regain a little bit of muscle tissue, and the next time not come in just like aiming for that level of condition, it would be a better overall look. Because structurally, like from a bone structure perspective, she's got everything in proportion. You can see like limb length, the torso, and all those things, which again you can't train. So that's a great gift to have, but definitely just needs a fresher look and a wee bit more muscle across top to bottom.
Yeah. And this is definitely like what we were talking about earlier in terms of female classes and trying to balance the condition of what you need versus because in some classes, yeah, the drive is to just get as lean and dry and hard as possible. But in our female classes, that isn't necessarily what we want. And fair play to her, like she's grafted really hard. Clearly, we can see that, but it is just too much condition for bikini. Um, so yeah, that would be the main feedback. I would agree with James there. I would say if she wanted to carry on and continue doing more shows this season, bring her food up and spend a bit of time eating and trying to put a little bit of size back on.
Yeah, I agree on that. Sometimes you can just overcook it, with the want to get lean, that the physique can sort of disintegrate a little bit, and it's just knowing when to call that in yourself. And then that's just the feedback. Maybe it's needed as well. It's just to find that balance point, as James says. Well, we
Yeah,
move on to the 45. So this was a combined class. So this was Joe. She's actually my client on the far right. I'll start off and give critique because I think it's important to be unbiased. Tan wasn't the best. That needed to be sorted, and it's something that we worked on for this previous weekend over at which is in Naba, North Britain, where she won. So I think presentation got better when because she also done the naturals 45 class, and it got better. She was a bit more confident. Looked up, she smiled as well. Whereas the first time she looked a little bit nervous, and then I felt it just even with some of the posing, they
yeah,
just like we actually talked about in the wellness class. She has a bigger sort of rib cage, and especially in some of the side turns when she stood out, she kind of protruded it, which made her midsection look a little bit blocky. So it's something that we've been working on in and around that. Generally, though, I was very happy with her condition, her fullness, and I think we could probably push the fullness a tad more going into later, more open shows.
yeah. I think you've hit the nail on the head there for Joe. I think she's got a really impressive physique. Firstly, I think I agree with the posing and just controlling her midsection a little bit more, trying not to flare her ribs. Um, but yeah, I thought she had a nice look. I think a darker tan would have added to that. Um, but yeah, a really lovely physique, and she's also got very good potential. Did you say she won her class on the weekend?
Yes, now just to repeat that. So when I seen all the girls at NABA, I thought, uh-oh, their criteria is very different. It's a lot softer. So she had
Yeah.
in bikini, but I kind of said like that wasn't like what we were going to be doing in PCA. We were staying within normal bikini classes, the masters class. I think that condition. Well, I'd be interested to hear your opinions on it, actually in terms of her level of condition, where you would put it.
From what I remember, she was quite conditioned, like.
Yeah, but no more.
Um, I don't
I,
I don't think I remember looking at her thinking she needs more. I think I don't know if did she need more from the back. James, can you remember?
yeah, I think her condition, Neil, was bang on. I just thought there was a fullness thing.
Yeah.
Just because she has I think her physique is class. She actually does have. I know she like first show she's probably feeling a wee bit awkward, but she has a good stage presence about her. She's a nice look.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And again, structurally, she looks great. The level of muscularity that she has, I think, is bang on. But I thought the condition was there. For me, the thing that softened the condition was the tan, but you can see the condition there, and then just a little bit more fullness in her. I said like you could sort of see in the shoulders, maybe
Yeah.
a bit into the arms and stuff. Just didn't have that pop. But that was other than that, like the condition that you brought her in was just absolutely bang on, mate.
Yeah,
No,
because I remember when she walked out thinking, oh, she's quite lean her, like as in like she's got good condition.
No, it's happy with the condition. It was just it was the fullness. I think when we went to NABA, it was a bit of a shock to us, more so because it was like, oh my God, she's so like she's way more conditioned than these girls. So straight away, we're just like put her in the training class. So it's just,
Yeah.
I mean, that's interesting as well. It's all experience too. You know, I'd sort of thought when I'd seen the NABA in Northern Ireland, I was like, this isn't going to be a bikini class girl when I would seen what they were judging. But yeah, very happy. And like, I mean, as a first show, first time at 46, like I'm well proud of her. So like she wants to keep going show after show after show. I think she wants to do the naturals actually later in the year, the finals. So it's something that we're going to consider as well.
You quite
Yeah,
often see
definitely
in
go
the
for it.
you quite often see in the older ladies categories that hardness that they tend to bring. It's almost like it comes a wee bit easier than females in their younger years. Like I've coached a lot of masters female athletes over the years, and just the level of you have to walk that line very carefully because you can almost bring them in too dry and too hard looking. You have to maybe soften that out sometimes a little bit. Bring a bit.
That was the beauty of coming down to that posing workshop. She flew over from England to, and I recommend anybody to go down because obviously there was all you guys there. So I was actually able to ask at that point, like, where do you see her? And at that point, a few of the judges had said, that's enough. And that was like 4 or 5 weeks ago. So she spent the last 5 weeks eating 500 plus grams of carbs and no cardio. So it's a win-win for everybody.
Right?
Yeah, but that's like what I said about the girl who won that Masters over 35. Natasha, like when you were asking whether she was trained, it's in the Masters class because they have maturity. We do tend to see you just see the maturity through the muscle, and that you can show condition a little bit more when you have that maturity. So there is a fine line to kind of balance.
Well, that's perfect, guys. So we have bikini short now, which is 50s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
51 would that be then maybe?
3.
53.
Three. Perfect. So bikini short class, we had 4 competitors in, I believe. That's us.
Yeah. I'm actually gonna pass this one over to James because I had to run backstage 2 or 3 times during their class. Um, so I'll let James cover it.
Okay, so we had in third, just make sure I get this right. Nikki Flanagan, who's number 55. Can't really see the numbers there.
That's purple bikini.
Purple bikini, yeah. Nikki. Yeah, so I says a great display in a very high quality category and a very promising future. I think like the structure is actually really, really nice, as you can see here. Nice, very, very small waist. I think just long term, just a wee bit more overall development. You can see there just a wee bit more maybe in the legs, in the limbs. Waist is absolutely non-existent almost, which is great in that criteria in those side poses. But a wee bit of time, everything is there. The foundations are there for her just to be able to add on. And again, I thought that was a very competitive top three. Like, in second place, we had Rebecca, who was number 53.
Far left.
I think she had a lovely physique, and with a few changes to her posing, she could 100% show it a lot better. I remember on the day thinking she's not posing her physique in the best way. And if she could, she had a very big bend in her knees, which I don't think did her physique any justice.
Yeah.
So I think if that's something she could definitely work on because I remember her physique stood out to me like a good level of muscular development and a nice shape and
Yeah. Very, like you can see through the back there in this condition, nice shape. It's just that kind of knee bend that's really throwing everything off to a degree.
Yeah.
particularly in her side shots, I think.
Whenever you have that sort of bent knee, it's harder to just look as firm and tight through the likes of the hamstring. I hate even using the phrase glute ham tie-in, but you kind of want that nice flow. The visuals look like equally conditioned through glutes into hamstrings. Whenever the knee's bent, you're probably not going to get just as much of that tightness of the skin on the hamstring. I did think that I would have liked a little bit more tightness through her glutes. Very, very marginally, though. It's a very, very small amount. And I also thought that her tan could have been a little bit darker, which was one of the things that I said. But I also said she's actually a very, very good physique, as you can see there.
Nice width in that top line too.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
gives the waist
Good
that.
level of muscle she's definitely got. But yeah, like what James was saying, even in like this side shot, you can see the position of her leg. If she's almost sitting into it. Um and she can lose a little bit of her glute roundness in the side shot from doing that as well. Because you can't really sit into the glute and pop the glute like what you could be if the knee wasn't so bent.
Yeah. And then number 57, who is Vivian.
Yep.
She takes the win. I just thought like a very high quality physique and so much potential moving forward as well. Um, I thought like you could sometimes you can argue maybe the condition could be a very very little tight bit more, but actually I think for the category on the day she probably had the best balance overall in terms of condition front to back and top to bottom as well. And
Yeah.
you can see there she's actually like really nice structure.
Yeah, fits the bikini class really nicely, has a lovely bikini look.
We're gonna keep this rolling, guys. We have naturals to go through as well. So we do. Nadia's got to go to bed soon, I
I,
believe.
I actually I actually do have I have to leave in the next like 5 minutes because I haven't even eaten. I haven't eaten today,
We-
Nothing. Nothing.
Oh my
Prepping.
goodness.
Well,
As you prepping, Nadia, you're on it.
What were
The
you doing? What have you been doing all day up to 7:30, 8 p.m.?
I know. I was at work. I work full time, you guys, and we had a really busy day on the construction site today. So it was absolute chaos. I literally didn't have time to eat, and then I drove straight home, had a shower, and then been chatting to Neil about getting this podcast done. Now I'm here with you lovely fellas. So I'm fucking starving, so I need to leave shortly.
Well, me
Um,
and James will tackle naturals so that when we get through this, we get through bikini tall and then the
yeah.
overalls, and then me and James will have us shout out the naturals. So bikini tall number.
Um,
60.
we only had one.
Oh,
59, Sabina.
Yeah,
Number 60, Rosie, she moved to
yeah,
junior.
right. 59.
59, 59, Sabrina. So just Sabrina and bikini tall.
Yeah,
I've heard a little bit of feedback.
yeah. I really liked Sabina's look. Um, I thought she had a lovely physique, a good level of condition as well. I think she just needs to continue to grow on what she's got. But I thought she had lovely presentation. And yeah, just a really good look. I mean, you can see it there in a side shot, like nice delts, glutes, midsection's nice and tight. Yeah, I think a really good quality physique. It's always like disheartening when you're the only one in your class. But I think even if we had a lineup, she would still have done really well. Like she had a lovely, lovely physique.
That's a great shot for her too. Them shoulders look fantastic there. Really good
Yeah,
shot.
absolutely. Yeah. Anything you want to add to that, James?
Like just marginal, a little bit more in the hamstrings just to balance the lower legs out. You can see like from the front, the quads look really good. In the side pose, you can see the quads just very slightly overpowering the hamstring. So just a wee bit more in the hamstring and maybe a wee bit more in the back just to create a wee bit more balance from that posterior. And whenever we say about the back pose, whenever you develop your back, it's improving the female poses from the side profile as well. Just creates that wee bit more density down in towards the anterior pelvic tilt. You know what I mean? So you're really scooping down. So a wee bit more in the back, tiny touch, bit more in the hamstring, and that is a very high quality physique.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
That would take a lot. Did we have a train bikini?
No, we didn't. No
No.
train bikini.
We're gonna shoot in the overalls here then once this does whatever it's been doing here.
Is it?
Oh, I'm sad because I don't want to miss the naturals because they were sick.
Did we have a bikini trained? Evening? No,
Oh, sorry. I'm thinking. Are you thinking of naturals?
no.
Oh yeah, Avian was sorry. She was in the first timers. It was in the naturals. We didn't have train bikini, but
Yeah,
Avian was in the
yeah. We've got
um
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No,
another really good physique. So she was the only one in her class. But again, I thought she had a very, very nice physique. You could tell that she had a good level of muscle. I thought her condition was really good. I thought her posing was nice. Another one who just needs to carry on developing. Can you go through a couple more of her poses there?
Yeah, I just said a bit more glute development is
Yeah,
definitely going to help.
yeah,
But you look at her the taper and stuff of her back. Like so, she's actually got those attributes that some of the other females that we're talking about are maybe missing. Really nice sort of structure there from shoulder to waist. Looks really really clean. Just a little bit more in the glute, and that the posterior side's going to look very very nice.
There's very good
yeah,
density in that back as well.
Yeah,
yeah.
and I thought the condition looked really good. Um, that was really the only real negative that I would say, and it's not a negative; it's a critique.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
I would say, and I think I don't know, James, whether you agree that she did train bikini, but I would put her in bikini open. Personally, I think if she's gonna go on to do like the universe or the British, I would probably do bikini, just open bikini in that. I don't know what you think about that, James.
I I don't know. I think like the level of muscularity from the front that she has, she
Mm.
I think she's on that line. Uh,
Yeah, I'm just thinking more of a from a universe or a British standpoint,
yeah,
where the girls tend to be
a wee
a
bit.
little bit, yeah, just a little bit more on the muscular side.
Yeah,
But yeah, I think a class physique. And again, another girl, like we say, she was the only one in her class, but I think she really deserved her win.
And Nadia, would you change it? And then obviously with that thought in mind of potentially at a universe level. So obviously just for anybody watching is like I suppose it's a higher tier competition, isn't it? Like, would you change anything with her conditioning coming from the trained in this, or is this usually this is pretty close to where it needs to be even for bikini at a top level universe?
She could probably push her condition a tiny, tiny bit more,
Like,
if she was going for like trained. But like I say, it's just at the universe level, you do tend to see the girls on the more muscular side. Like the girls in train tend to be almost verging on, they're close to like a figure level of muscularity for a bikini athlete. That's what we tend to see in trained at that level.
interesting. That's good feedback. Something to consider then. So we'll go into the overall. So just quickly mention these. So we went through obviously went through all the winners anyway, but just to see how you seen the overall really unfolding. PCA Dairy Naturals, first ever Naturals overall. So this will be we'll just run a couple of these. These are just the winners.
We knock up the lineup.
They'll be in there somewhere. Where was Dylan? Because he was in the overall, so he'll have his overall shots up there.
Yeah.
Italy, bear with me 2 seconds. I want to get the overalls up. Nah, we don't even have the
There's this folder there. Hold on. There,
oh
number five.
5
yeah. Down.
down.
Where are you going?
Where are we going? Up or down?
You've
Not
gone past it twice.
not so quick, mate.
I was just 7:30 this morning. I've done 12 hours.
There.
Right. There
Okay,
we
now.
go. Thank God. Right. We got overall lineup. I believe this is here. We'll just flick on it here.
Get the front.
Yeah, good. It's a nice juicy front shot.
So demanding.
Get the front shot.
Right. Front. There we go. We'll go with that spread for us.
Yeah.
It was a really good overall on the day. But for me, Dylan took that overall because he was the most complete in regards to his class. He was the closest to being like a fully polished, complete look, ticks all the boxes of his criteria within his class. All the other competitors, they've all won their class. They are obviously very good competitors. Um, but they might have had something that was lacking. So like they could have a little bit more condition or they could pose a little bit better. Whereas Dylan was just kind of like tick, 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 tick for me.
I think that's where people, when they ask, because that was a few questions we've got about the overalls, is where people kind of just get a little bit misguided. Because you could look at a bodybuilder there that's got the size, but doesn't necessarily have the whole package when it comes to the bodybuilding classes. Because I've seen recently a lot of classic bodybuilders winning the overalls at PCA shows, essentially because a
Yeah.
lot of time they come in very complete. Where the bodybuilders, something like if I look like from a bias point, I'm going, look at Big Sean there, but Sean's still missing that condition to a degree. And I actually look at him and go, well, you know what? If he was in condition with that structure, he could be pushing down with a little bit more size. So that's where I think people come a little bit misguided with when they look at an overall.
Yeah, definitely. And also, like, Dylan was probably one of the best posers of the day as well. So he was very confident in his posing and he posed his physique really, really well. So that really shines through, I think.
Yeah.
It's always weird whenever you're doing overalls because whenever you have juniors and they look incredible, you don't see the youthfulness of the physique until they're standing beside somebody that's not youthful, that's got that maturity. It's a different
Yeah.
look.
Yeah.
And you're like, whoa, and then they come out, and then you like, even if a junior sometimes is looking really conditioned, it can the look of the condition can be diminished a little bit. Standing beside somebody that's just got that gnarliness with the physique, like what's your guy called, Ben?
Sean.
Sean? Like, look at the X frame that he has in that lineup. It's just absolutely bonkers. Bit more, obviously, with him a wee bit more sort of condition.
Yeah.
But you seen, for me, like if it was between two people, it was going to be Dylan and number 12,
Oh, Marcin.
Yeah.
Marchant. Like he had like loads of muscle, loads of density, loads of maturity to the look. But as Nadia said, Dylan, it's the critique. Who's the best representation of each of those categories? And for me, Dylan, as soon as he walked out, I thought, like, yeah, he's going to be hard to beat here.
100%. I agree with that as well. We will just go on to the female overall. So if we'll find, where's Joe? Here we go again.
Not again.
Where was Joe? I knew she was in it, so I've lost her already. Nadia, help me out, girl. Help me out.
Joe was 52 off the top of my head.
Great memory. Right. So
Mate, you
overall,
don't know. Honestly, I fucking remember so much shit. Seriously.
right, let's get a front on shot of these girls. So we're overall here.
Again, this overall, like, it was a great overall. The bikini overalls are always stacked. Loads of girls in there. Um, and really, really nice, lovely physiques. Megan just took this for me because, again, she has a more complete look in regards to fitting into her class. She's got the structure, the right balance, top to bottom. Her condition was pretty on point for her class, her posing, her presentation. So she just brought a really complete look for me for bikini. And like when we were talking about her critique and her feedback, there wasn't loads other than just carry on doing what you're doing and continue to grow on it. So that kind of sums up then why she won the overall because of the look that she brought.
Yep. James.
James.
Yeah, that's it. She just stands out, and she had a real ease about her as well. Like, that the smile's not it doesn't look forced. Everything looked natural in it. And again, for somebody to do that as a first time, for somebody to do that as this had experience is you have to appreciate that. Never mind somebody for first time too.
Yeah. Good lineup though. There's some real good girls in that actually. Especially as the first timers, like very, very good.
Yeah.
So that is the first timers wrapped up. That was a marathon.
Whew.
Are we staying on, James, for these boys, for these natty boys?
I'll stay on. I'll just hit the wee girls' room quickly here.
I'll stay with you, Neil, for a minute while he goes to the toilet.
That's like because I'm going to have to carry this one then.
Oh, I'm gutted because there were some physiques in that naturals that I really, really want to talk about. Maybe we could go through a few.
Yeah,
Can we talk about my like the standout classes of the day for me, and then you can carry on.
definitely. You tell me where you want to go here, and I'll follow lead.
I would like to see, have you got a folder for the
Usually,
men's physique? The overall winners, the bodybuilding overall and the men's physique overall. Obviously, we've already touched on the two female overall winners, which was Hesse and Megan,
yeah,
because they won the overall earlier on in the day. Um, but we had men's physique. Let me just find 83, Leo.
yeah. We can go with that.
I definitely want to touch on him because that his physique blew my mind, to be quite honest. Um, for a junior, natural, I thought he was, yeah, wild. Um, the posing was insane, but like the level of muscle that he's got, and he just fits the class perfectly. Sorry, James, I wanted to talk about a couple of people that just stood out that I wanted to touch on because they just really impressed me.
Yeah,
First one being Leo, the men's physique overall winner. Like when genuinely, um, when he walked out, I was like, fucking hell, class. A really, really nice physique. A good level of muscle. The condition was really good. Tan was good. Posing was spot on. Like really knew how to pose. When he was hitting his side poses, you can see here, he's popping his lat, and that's what we want to see as well in these poses. Look how he's flaring his inside lat to accentuate the taper. And the top line looks nice and full. The midsection was just like that midsection couldn't have been any tighter. And his arms, I don't know if you've got um any double bicep because his biceps were crazy as well.
Yeah, really wee tennis ball stuck in there.
Yeah, but look at that midsection, like it's yeah. I just wanted to touch on him. I thought he had a really like pretty complete look. And I'd have to like to critique, I'd have to be like really like nitpicking to give him feedback, like in terms of what to work on. Just again, just carry on doing what you're doing and continue to grow on the physique that you've got. But really, really good.
James, could you give critique if you were to find some?
yeah. I actually in the feedback I gave him, I says it was an incredible look, and I needed to dig to find any flaws, and that's always a good sign because it means then it's the flaws are marginal and that it's part of the project, isn't it? Really, I
Yeah.
says like because he would for me he's not the widest across the clavicle. You can see whenever he sort of stands more front on, I thought a wee bit more in the delts would sort of help the visuals on that sort of top line. That was really it. Other than that, like nice symmetry in the pec development, ab development, good density in the back. Arms look really good as well. Presentation, like he travelled across, I believe, from England, so he's came across to conquer the Irish there, and it was a successful pursuit for him. You know what I mean? He looked incredible. He actually reminded me a wee bit of I can't remember the guy I judged the PCA Natural British last year. The guy that won the British. Um, there's a lot of similarities I felt like in their physiques as well. So he's of a very good standard, and hopefully he does push forward towards the likes of the British and Universe and whatever else because he'll pick up a lot of hardware this season.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the other athlete that I was a standout for me of the day was the overall bodybuilding winner, which was classic short, number 72,
Samuel
Morgan.
Samuel Morgan. He was very, very impressive. Very
Yeah.
impressive.
Another athlete who, when he walked out, I was just like, yeah, presentation, the posing was really good. I thought his condition from the front was really good. I thought just an overall really nice, complete, polished look that he had. I know we've used that word polished a lot, but that is what I
Polished.
would describe. Yeah, I was just really impressed by this look. Like really, and he was the only one in his class. But again, he won the overall.
I mean,
So it just
what
says
a good representation for natural bodybuilding when you look at that, because there's a
that day.
there's a bodybuilder that would do damage, I believe, like especially in the classic realms, in the
In
enhanced,
the open classes.
when they so like it's so impressive, like with them abs just like they're sunk in to him, it's like that midsection's like that, and that's what I find. Like again, I've only really, I'll be honest, like really only sort of watching more natural bodybuilding the more I've done this, and that's what I find with the guys, like their midsections are just like that superb. Their conditioning is often next level compared to what you see at the open shows. It's really really impressive.
Yeah. What I love about athletes, like the natural shows, and when you have athletes turn up that are like really fucking outstanding, I love that people can see that this is possible as a natural athlete because I think the more that bodybuilding progresses and it gains popularity, like people do need to understand that you can do bodybuilding naturally and you can see this level of athlete and it is very competitive. I think it's really important for people to see that. And I love when I see athletes like this coming through because it's just class. Like that's a class physique. And again, he's another person who really knows how to pose his physique. Like look at some of the poses there in them photos. Like, yeah, it was a really good presentation that he had. James, did you say he's a seasoned competitor, this fella?
Yeah, he's been competing. I He was competing with MBFI a few seasons ago. I'm pretty certain that he done the WMBF as well, if I remember. I think I might have judged him at one point. But he's definitely made a lot of improvement since I believe it was 2 seasons ago he competed last, and he's definitely made a lot of improvements there, which is really good. I've said it's lovely balance. Condition from the front was exceptional. He had actually messaged me for feedback as well, so I was happy enough to provide that. It says but again, I believe this was a show he wasn't scheduled to do, and they kind of jumped in early. So I think that being said, then my feedback sort of fits the time frame for him. I just says condition looked really good from the front, exceptional, but from the back a touch harder would definitely be good. And he agreed with that as well.
Yeah.
I will say, if he is listening, he could, particularly in the overall, you need to stay on your legs because the cuts and the detail is in the quads, but I could see them kind of like on, on and off. You need to learn to. It's nice to have all the nice classic shapes and creating these silhouettes, but don't trade off the ability to stay on your legs the whole way through the poses as well. So just stay on them quads a wee bit harder, and that's going to be hard to beat. Again, he's going to pick up a lot of silverware this year.
Yeah, these three competitors here were very, very good. Now I believe they were two separate classes, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we had classic tall, 73 and number 7 was classic tall, and then Morgan was classic short. But I remember this class was a standout class for me of the day. It was very, very good.
Who took the classic tall out of these two lads?
Ebor.
Number 7, yeah, Ebor.
Ebor.
Good shape, it was good from the back, especially in the upper part of his posterior as well.
Yeah.
From what's in there.
Yeah. Both really good athletes.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just wanted to touch on those.
Right,
but yeah, I don't really. I'm gonna get FOMO. I'm gonna feel left out because you guys are gonna be enjoying this without me. But I get up for work at 4:30, and it's 10 o'clock, and I haven't eaten, so I do really need to leave. However, some parting words from me. Thanks for having me on, first of all. I love being included. You guys know how much I care about PCA Ireland. It's literally one of the biggest passions of my life. All I care about is making sure that athletes are happy, that they get the feedback that they can get to progress, and that they get loads of content on the day so we can provide, like, I don't know if you guys have noticed the reels over the last week, I think have been 10 out of 10. We've been producing some sick content, which I'm hoping that the athletes love. We're trying to get, as much as possible out there for people. But I love doing stuff like this because I really do want to help athletes as much as I can. So I hope everybody takes their feedback in a positive way because that's how we mean it. Every athlete that came to the shows, like genuinely, were amazing. It was one of the best shows that we've had. The standard was really good. And even like backstage and stuff, the athletes were lovely at TAN at registration. Everyone was polite, everyone was friendly. It was such a good vibe, and James will back me on that. Like it was a really good atmosphere at the show.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just hope that it helps and the athletes take the feedback and they use it to improve. And if they do need any help, me and James are more than happy to advise or give any further feedback or clarify anything.
Yes, Nadia, thank you very much, Kurt. It's always appreciated. And I think, like you say, like even with the PCA, the last year and a half, 2 years just went like that in terms of like the value that's going out there. So no, you're a
We are
massive.
nearly at 7,000 followers. So anyone who's watching this, please share the PCA Ireland Instagram and push everybody to follow because we are growing. And it's just a bigger platform for our athletes, which gives people more opportunities, which is what we want.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you very much, Nadia. We
Thanks
will
so much, guys. Enjoy and don't miss me too much, yeah.
Serious.
see you there.
Sorry,
Right,
I don't know how to leave, so
you're staying then.
You kick her off.
How do you even do that?
yeah, hold on, wait. No, I
Really?
found it. I found it. Bye.
See you later. Right, James, we will continue, shall we? So
Yeah. Well, let's slag her off a wee bit first before
I
we.
know, I know, I know. Thank God she was there. I had no idea of the numbers there.
Yeah.
So we got to roll that now. So we're going to start. We're going to go back into junior bodybuilding. Have you got the numbers there, James?
Junior bodybuilding, 67, 68. Yeah.
There's no 67 or 68 here, unfortunately. It's
Six-
the
69, 69, 70.
Okay, perfect. 69 is there. So we shall go junior bodybuilding class. There is a good few lads in this as well, as there was.
Yeah, I think 5 was it?
Couple of standouts in it as well, really, in
Yeah.
terms of the two taller lads there.
Yeah, let's get this right. Third was Ryan Quinn, number 70.
Mhm.
Yeah, so fourth and fifth would have been 68 and
88.
188. 188 again, a wee bit more condition actually probably would have pushed a wee bit closer into with number 70 in third.
Yeah.
I think that's just again time. A lot of young guys they just need a wee bit more time doing what they're doing. Just enjoying it. Hopefully they had a good experience as well.
Yeah, I took young Louis there, 188, and I thought like, yeah, we were very, very close to nipping that spot. I loved it for him, but you can see why with that conditioning, and it's interesting because obviously with the naturals, there's a lot of boys coming from the first timers into the naturals, and you can nearly see the difference, in that seasoned competitors, which I assume the first and second place were. You can see the difference in terms of refinement, in terms of condition, and just time spent doing the sport of bodybuilding.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. Yeah, it would have been definitely close. He could have definitely pushed into that top three for sure. I think like the top two you can see there are like standouts. It was between them two for the battle.
Mhm.
So if we can get some of the feedback through, so number 3, that's Ryan.
Mhm.
Yeah, it says nice physique and presentation. It'd be nice to see a bit more condition, and this would improve an already impressive physique.
Yeah.
And he smiled. He looked like he had a good time on stage as well, which is obviously really, really nice to see as well. In second place, then we had Justinus,
This it's just in a 69 here.
69. Yeah, like
He was impressive, young lad, and like in terms of like his conditioning, I thought was like very good. Especially the two guys, both first and second, I thought were really good conditioning. For me, it was like the winner just had a little bit more like more muscle, more through the lat, more through that, had a bit more of an X frame, and I think like it's filling that sort of physique out when it is so tall and long. It's just a time component to it, but like brought himself in like very very well.
yeah, I completely agree with that. I thought his presentation definitely could have been a little bit better. Number 69. But again, you're young lads. You just need to practice a little bit more. Get into your poses nice and quick. Hit and hold them as hard as possible, and try to look like you're enjoying it at the same time. Is all really good to use. You can see there, like the side chest. Arguably, you could critique everybody's side chest there,
Yeah.
but I felt like that position doesn't do him any justice. You want to try to sit into that hip a little bit more and just bring that back shoulder round. I don't really like lifting the shoulder up too much on that, but there was some posing miscues in quite a lot of the compulsory poses for him. But as I said, the top two for me were the with standouts in that category.
With James, like what sort of critique would you give him? Like, has some of his shots, as you say, like here, he's nice. It's a nice physique. It's
Yeah,
just a little bit more like probably through the chest, through the delts as well, because he's such a big structure. When he opens up, like everything's quite it's quite consuming compared to the rest of the lads there. But in certain shots, you can just see where they're lacking maybe a little bit of muscularity.
yeah. Are you talking about the 67
Yes,
in first? Yeah.
yeah,
I thought it was a really nice package. Nice wide clavicles, so really nice clean top line, which is really, really nice. Presents it well. You can see this sort of in that, like the front lat spread, for example, the cap on the deltoids, nice taper down into the waist. I think that looks really, really clean. I did feel like he left the door open a wee bit just with the condition from the rear.
Mhm.
Like from the front, you can see from the hip up, it's like that condition's really, really nice. Showcases everything. Serratus is nice and clean. Nice level of fullness across the chest and shoulders. Just a wee bit tighter in through the rear, as you can see here.
Yeah.
Would definitely help improve the overall look. But yeah, for me, it was them two were the sort of standouts in that category.
Yeah, it just they had more muscle as well with that bit more condition. I think as well, like when it's so imposing when somebody is so tall as well, but that's when you can really leave gaps in your physique. You know, like say you said with the side chest shot, I find it interesting when there's tall guys, yes, you want to look big, but you can almost afford to sit down a little bit more into that shot to show that hamstring more because standing up when you are tall and long, it can make the hamstrings look a little bit slim. And because you're so tall, you can sit down in it more and not look short.
Yeah, without a doubt, completely agree. But
Good.
really nice little category there, I have to say.
Yeah, I like it when obviously there was the junior classes I've said a few times, like they are impressive and they're always stacked. It's probably some of the more competitive classes, both in the bikini classes and in the bodybuilding.
Yeah,
We have first timers bodybuilding.
yeah. I think there was only one maybe in that category. Was it Matthew Dunlop,
Matthew Dunlop.
number 65?
There he is. We're going to touch on everybody if we can. We're in for the night shift here.
Let's go.
uh, two units actually, or was this two classes combined potentially, James?
I think this was two classes. I think this might have been 66, which is Adam Walsh, which was first timers classic, maybe.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
66. So left was first timers bodybuilder. On the right there is first timers classic. Both got their invites as well. So very, very good sort of standard across the board. If we start off with first timers bodybuilding, you can see like this is a prime example. If you were going to pick categories, they're in the right categories.
Yeah. Yep.
You know what I mean? Loads of muscle on Matthew there. So yeah, very pleasing physique with an impressive level of muscularity. More condition really is particularly from the back would create a very, very good look.
And that's 66, isn't it? We're talking here.
Yeah,
Let's see from the back.
so that's Matthew.
So yeah, just a little bit more from the back in terms of like actual the development there.
Yeah. I think there's also like learning how to pose your hamstrings as well. And probably not over leaning on that back pose. Like those are small tweaks to the presentation as well, but that'll add to the look. And
Do you
then even
find things when people are to find that the hamstrings are one of the harder things people I find it when I'm trying to teach people, like trying to switch them on and engage them a little bit. It's
yeah,
found I think anything from the back generally a lot of the time is because people can't see that. They're looking in the mirror when they're posing and then actually, not being able to see it, you have to kind of feel it. And I think that's for some people, even when it comes to back development, like it's something you're big into, they can lack a little bit there because they just don't know how to feel it. And if you don't know how to feel it and train it, probably don't know how to pose it very well.
without a doubt. Yeah, I think it just takes practice. Like there's part of it, like if you don't have condition, it's going to be hard to show there. You can see there Matthew looks really like pretty good condition through the front, nice sort of deep separation in the quads. Still could be a little bit tighter in the lower from the front, but most of the fat reduction needs to just be in through the sort of glutes, hamstring area, and then that's actually a pretty impressive physique for first timers bodybuilder.
Yeah. Good,
Natural.
like really good frame structure. The condition I thought could have just been that little bit tighter, but
Yeah.
it was a nice physique. If you get, you know what I mean. I look at him and it's a very pleasing physique to the eye. That even with the muscle there.
Yeah, he's loads of potential, and this is key. Me and Andrew Chappelle were doing a seminar a while back, and we are talking about like, what do you think is the statistics for people that compete? How many of them do you think that go on to compete? And everybody has this idea that a high percentage of people continue to compete, and the truth is they don't. Beyond the first year. But whenever I see people that have really good potential, I'm just like I'm excited to give that feedback, because I'm like going, I could visualize with the right work how that like Matthew could look in another 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you know what I mean?
A chest, it's just hanging.
Hanging off the bone there, and like tricep looks really good there, as I said as well. Like the upper just looks nice and clean. Quads are maybe just slightly more developed than the hamstrings, but again, like I've had very similar problems with my own development in years past. You just got to get the head down and work on those, and you can tell the guy puts in work, so that's not going to be a problem.
Yeah.
Classic. If we go into, that's Adam Walsh, so number 66. I said he's a nice taper and areas of good development. Just more overall leg size would create a bit more balance to his current physique.
Yeah, agreed. Again, it's like the legs is the standout bit. You go, yes, that's the bit we need to push. Obviously, as being looks younger as well, there's development needed everywhere. But if you're picking certain areas out, it's just that quad, and even a little bit of a doctor too, to fill that gap between the thighs.
Yeah, I think also posing the adductors. So what people don't realize in the front pose, if you sort of pinch your glutes, it'll pack your adductors in, and you'll kind of fill that thigh gap.
Yep.
I think there was an Instagram thing a while, like about 4 or 5 years ago, where people were like talking about the thigh gap.
Look at the thigh gap.
Yeah, yeah. Like we don't want to, like you don't want to pose. You want to fill in as much of that space as possible. That's what bodybuilding is, trying to occupy as much space. As somebody that's not the biggest bodybuilder, I have worked so hard to make sure that I fill every single millimeter of space on that stage that I possibly can without taking away from the physique. You don't want to compromise things, but small tweaks like that. If he's in this pose and he's doing that, like thinking about opening his lats up to hit his most muscular from the top, and then just sit on the legs and then just squeeze the glutes, you'll feel the adductors just pack in a little bit.
Yeah. Valuable. I mean, that's it. It's the little things, and again, that's why I love this feedback stuff as well, and why we take our time doing it, because it's little things like that can massively transform your physique in seconds, never mind years, to actually put the tissue on as well.
Yeah.
James, we will move into classic bodybuilding short now. Then
Classic bodybuilding short. So that's Morgan. Yeah, who we've just looked at.
Oh right, sorry.
He was on his own.
Oh.
So we've already blew a lot of smoke up Morgan's bum. He's amazing.
We had the tall class then too. I think it's probably worth just quickly revisiting that with the two guys in it beside him.
Yeah, so number 7, number 73. So he had Ebor and Cillian.
Wasn't in that. Where was Morgan? Because that was the two photos in it. We don't have their photos.
Morgan 72. Yeah, that's him there.
Yeah. So again, these were two classes split.
Yeah.
We sort of already discussed this being a very good class in general. A winner, number 7. I like this physique, bubbly, flowed well, plenty of muscle. Certain little areas I think of like refinement again, just to take this physique to the next level. Probably in terms of like condition, even this posing, even how he's posing that lat spread, it's kind of nearly pushing the stomach out rather than making that waist look a little bit smaller.
Yeah, I agree with that. I sort of thought like the condition in the lower would create better balance. Like you had like really thick chest, bubbly. You can see even there in the arms and stuff too. But you can see there even in that pose, you're not seeing as much sort of separation, even with the quad sort of spiked. So the condition in the lower could have been a little bit better. And the same critique is for Cillian as well. Could just pose the lower a little bit better, but for me, he needed a little bit more development.
Yeah.
In the legs. But see, the top half looks so clean, nice detail through the abs, serratus, obliques. Yeah,
It's interesting because there is a big, like we talk about balance, there's a big disparity there between the bottom half and lower half. There is a tissue, and there's a tissue element to that as well. But in terms of how good that midsection looks, like, that would probably look pretty cool on a men's physique stage as well. Like you could kind of go both ways with that because he has good fullness in the chest when he is posing. The midsection's pretty razor sharp. The legs just need a little bit more through it.
yeah. It's like this game is all about balance. You just want to make sure that if there's things that you're void of, that's the area that you need to really prioritize. That traffic light system. You can see there again, condition just could be a little bit better on both guys and through the back as well.
His bubbliness and shape just kind of took it, didn't it? That was like when you see like the lower lat like that, and it's sort of sitting out at you. It's always like very impressive.
Yeah, I did think that it was close. That for me, there was definitely pros and cons. I think Ebor, there's a lot of posing things that he has. There's flaws there that really take away even some of the qualities. You can see they're even not really able to contract down onto the abs and those front shots, for example.
Mhm.
But you look at the density there. I would still say his upper's more developed than his lower
Yeah.
through the arms and shoulders there.
But yeah, that's a good class. The classic classes are good too. They're always strong classes. You always see strong competitors. You never really see anybody too far outside of it anymore. I
Yeah,
think people start to get the memo about like this is a bodybuilding class and this is a classic class, and they're not the same thing. Because I remember initially in the first few years, you were like, they look bodybuilding to me.
yeah. Like you can see there wasn't actually that much height difference in the three. I can remember me and Nadia whenever they walked out, we're like going, we should have just probably kept them all in the same category
Yeah.
because, like you can see Morgan there, there's not a lot of difference in height. Um, so then, who would you have had then? Obviously, you would take Morgan if it was just one class.
Yeah, I took Morgan.
Yeah,
Morgan really, really impressed me in
yeah,
the bodybuilding classes. Like I think it's well because I think a lot of people watching this involved in bodybuilding probably grew up around enhanced bodybuilding. So like to me, it's nearly like as surprising seeing a very good like natural bodybuilder like that. You go that guy could compete and win shows in enhanced federations, not a problem.
yeah,
So that always stands out to me. So yeah, Morgan to me was good. As you say, for Morgan, it was more just like from the rear a little bit. There could be more condition, but as you said, then he's going to go on to do more shows, and this was an early one. But you only judge what you see on the day in front of you too.
that's right. Yeah.
Masters 40 plus bodybuilding.
Okay, so we had, I think, two, number 74, 75.
So, yep, we've got this 40 plus.
Yeah, Darren Rice. Yeah, this was me and Nadia were talking about this as soon as them guys walked out. They looked like brothers,
They do. They do.
like facially, and even there was certain sort of structure things that they had very comparative as well. It was really, it was strange to sort of see that. Um, and again, that to be honest, this could have went either way.
Yeah.
Uh, so let me just break this down a little bit. So we had Chris at number 74 who took it. Let's see. So I'll go to Darren who was second. Yeah, and Darren actually had sort of reached out and asked for sort of feedback as well. And I thought like the two of them did a really, really good job. I says nice thickness through the chest and quads, a wee bit more development through the back profile would create better balance from front to back. But overall, a great job. Like literally, you're splitting hairs at the end here. There was, I think, if I remember, Darren's uh, symmetry round, he wasn't posing that well, which kind of lost the initial look. And then whenever it goes into the sort of muscularity round, we can see both of them. There's flaws in the presentation there.
Yeah, and I think it's becoming every more clear as well as we went through this podcast. These review shows like the importance of posing,
Yeah.
because like especially as a first timer, like if there's a lot of first timers come in a little bit ill prepared when it comes to the posing, put it that way. Like you can like probably more so than in the open shows, but you can make up leaps and bounds from good presentation, and refinements to that in terms of like placements.
Yeah, 100%. So Chris, the one, um, for me, I've said nice quad separation. Needs to improve the presentation. This would showcase the physique so much better. We can see there just a little bit more condition from both those fellas from the rear wouldn't hinder the overall look either. But the key point, guys, as always, is make sure that you learn to pose. You need to learn how to pose to your strengths, but you also need to know how to pose your weakest poses in the best way possible. That's all that is. And sometimes it's just a little bit of a tweak. It's positioning. So make sure that you're getting good sort of guidance on that's definitely going to help. But then ultimately you have to put the work in yourself as well. So that's why the show photos are also, and show footage is so important for you to collect, because that is visual data for you to go, okay, how could I improve that look? And the bodybuilding, the sport of bodybuilding is a visual thing. So it's like, okay, if my hip was down a wee bit more, if I rotated the chest around a little bit more, how would that visually look? And then you just go into the gym, practice, take some videos, take some photos, and refine that look for the next time.
Yeah, 100%. Like really makes a massive, massive difference. And it's probably one of the most overlooked parts. We all love the training. We all love the dieting hard, working hard, but that's part of it too.
Yeah.
Masters 50.
Yeah. Masters 50s. We have, I think, two again, if I remember, which was 76 and 77. Felix McAlinden and Leon Pickering. Yeah, there's Felix.
I've seen Felix so many times at these shows, so I've always forever present.
I love seeing Felix. I've watched him like loads. He just competes all the time.
Feedback for Felix then, because obviously we see him compete a lot.
To be honest, if I don't think if we give the feedback, the Felix will even listen to us, because I'm pretty sure I've given him feedback before at a show. I'm not too sure. Felix always is actually in really good condition for the level of muscularity that he has. He always sort of brings that sort of same look to the stage every year, which is great to see. Every year it's like a tanning issue. Like if his tan needs to be about 3 coats darker. I think he obviously self tans, because it doesn't look like one of the tans that you would get at the PCA. Yeah, I don't want you don't need to be sort of too critical. Like you would say to somebody, oh, you need more muscle, whatever else. I honestly think if Felix was a wee bit darker in his tan and a wee bit, improved condition just from the back, a wee bit of improvement in his posing, he would be the best Felix that he could be. And I think that would be absolutely class to see.
He loves competing. He obviously loves being up there, and sometimes doing what you love, like that's okay. Because
Yeah.
we always say, listen, Felix, go and put a year off season in, you come back, you'll be that little bit bigger. But he obviously wants to be on stage, which, listen, but who's for us to say? Do you know what I mean? And he comes in good condition, the abs are there, wee bits of refinements with posing and tan.
Yeah.
You say best Felix we've seen on stage.
Yeah.
Number 77, bit of a
Yeah. Yes, Leon. Yeah, I'd written that he had lovely level of muscularity and detail in the upper half. I would like to see more development in the legs to improve the whole package. And you can see it there visually as well, like upper body, like really good abs, separation, good overall density, but just needs a wee bit more in the lower half and front and back.
And it's that like maturity and density that you see sort of shine through in the skin texture and the skin tone. It's I like the look in the Masters guys. Obviously sometimes the muscularity or body parts start to fade, but usually when they're in condition, it's pretty gnarly.
Yeah, I think there's obviously a look to the skin. Whenever you get older, whether it's collagen production, skin just looks a little bit thinner. And whenever you do get into that sort of high level of condition, it just cling films the muscle. And that's also then showcases the maturity of the muscle too. I'm encroaching on that age category myself. Maybe I think
life.
I'm deep into it. I'm deep into that phase.
Right. We got the bodybuilding classes now. We have short, medium, and tall in this.
Let's have a look. Bodybuilding.
Bodybuilding short and tall.
I'm not seeing any.
I'm going to just click on this and see what this comes up as. No,
No, I don't think we have any. No.
Hence but the overall winner was the classic. So we will move into bigger, which we had done because that would have been back on to Hesse. Did Hesse have anybody else in her natural class, James?
I think that the other girl didn't come back out. I'm not too sure what happened there.
Okay. We go into we've sort of touched on Hesse for in terms of feedback. It's going to be the same feedback as we'd had. Anyways, athletic figure.
Athletic figure. Let me see. Yeah, we have Lorraine, which is number 79.
And Lorraine, is she in with anybody else? It's the same. Lorraine was in earlier. We touched on her feedback.
Yeah, I think she was on her own, unless somebody got moved into that category, which I'm not seeing.
I think so. And then trained.
Trained. Ladies toned. No. Ladies trained. No.
Oh, that's all right. We go into the junior physique classes then after the interval.
Yep. Junior physique. So 82, 83, 84. Oh no, 82 and 83.
And this is what we had our overall winner from. And this looked like a pretty good class in the juniors, for it only being two lads. They were both pretty good, in terms of the shape. Obviously, we have a standout here, as we talked about earlier, in terms of his feedback. So maybe we'll touch on 82.
So Keelan?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, lovely physique, great balance. Needs a touch more density in the back shots to make this a complete look. Thought like from the front, they actually looked really, really nice. It's always hard to sort of judge whenever you're standing beside Leo, who's like a very, very polished, almost complete, like top to bottom, front to back. It's hard to stand on, even if you're looking really, really good.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And all you get them things happen sometimes. Like this guy is, Leo is clearly, like we've talked about him and sort of spoke about his merits. It is so challenging, but and it's sometimes a little bit unnerving when you see that backstage. I know I've been there against guys and going, oh my God, but you're going to end up being the best version that you can. And there's certain areas to physique that are good. You can see there like a little bit of touch from the back as well, probably even a little bit of posing in terms of symmetry as well within it.
Yep.
When I thought there's a little bit of asymmetry there in certain shots, and especially in men's physique, like that's very, very important.
Yeah, I just want to reiterate, like I said, that lovely physique and actually really good balance just needs that. Like whenever we consider what is density, density is just additional to what is there. Do you know what I mean? So creating that little bit more sort of thickness will create a better 3D image, on that stage as well. But really nice little tight waist, loads of potential for that kid as well. He just needs to stick with it.
Yeah, especially juniors, it's just, we say this all the time, the juniors, it's a time component for a lot of these guys. Obviously, you get the odd junior there that's just whoa, but they're few and far between. So it's a matter of time. Like we've been at it a long time ourselves, and it takes the time.
Yeah.
Right. We have now first timers physique. Maybe not really on that.
First timers. 80, 81,
Good.
36. I
So
think it might.
first timers, men's physique. We have 3 in this class. That's us here.
Yeah, there you go.
So I believe first was far right, and then where it was second was far left.
Yeah,
So
that's correct.
we'll start with third. I'll go in. So in terms of my feedback here, it's a condition thing. You know, it's you can see in terms of like the difference in condition from first to second and third, and that's probably a large part of the standout as much as it is structure. And until that condition's in, it's very hard to see, well, what's that structure truly look like, or even sometimes where does muscle need added. So it's for me, it's just there's posing as well a little bit in terms of even holding that midsection a little bit tighter, and then also condition to keep it in.
Yeah, it's exactly that. Darren's got a lot of muscle there. I had the feedback that was sent out to him was like you have a lot of muscle on a great physique. So there's a lot of good potential there. Just the condition was, quite a long way off, and that's something that can obviously be fixed this season. But arguably, like you would, if you looked at those physiques, if all of them, there's the question, if all of them were in condition, you would say Darren would probably be in contention for winning.
Absolutely, because you can see there through the lats, through the shoulders, and that back shot especially, it has the potential to be the best V taper in the way,
Yeah,
and the thickest lats there. So, as you say, these are things that are fixable within a shorter time frame than going add loads of muscle. Obviously, we're going to add some muscle too, but within that time frame, the condition's achievable.
yeah, 100%.
With second place, which is on far left.
So that's number 36, Joe. Yeah, presentation definitely hurt him. He was out of the three the only one that like smiled. So and bodybuilding, I'm not particularly a fan, or I don't encourage bodybuilders to smile unless you're Neil Rennie because he just has the best time on stage. I think in men's physique, it's imperative, that you show the gnashers. You have to look like you're presenting this sort of beach body surfer. That's where it started. Obviously now they're more muscular surfer dudes, but it's the same premise, that you kind of look like that Hollywood smile. That's kind of what we want, and just nice, confident presentation. So he actually had looked like he had a great time on stage, which was actually really nice to watch.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, so I'd say just like I would still like the presentation to improve in terms of how he hit a lot of the poses, and then you could just see even from the back profile he just needs a wee bit more sort of thickness in through the posterior. But from the front and the side pose, you could see that he's actually quite well developed there.
I know this guy, and he's fairly new to it as well. Obviously, this is also I think it's potentially his first time competing as well. So it's he enjoyed it up there. There's definitely elements of a physique there that can go further for sure. You can see that even in the chest. There is some nice development there. So yeah, like that's one to continue for the future. And then our first place midsection was very nice, and especially when you're comparing the top three, the midsection was much tighter, was it's very small at the waist, which is obviously like very men's physique. And there's a little bit of lat coming through as well. To me, it's a thickness thing. It will continue to get bigger if he continues to stick at it. And it's just with men's physique, that top line of going about is so important. With bodybuilding, we're obviously looking for different things. With men's physique, we want a nice, big, round, full top line and a small waist. That's the gold standard for that.
Yeah, just completely agree with everything you said there for sure.
So we should move to physique short. No, we've done masters. Physique masters.
Do we have any physique masters? No.
We go physique short.
Oh, we had a masters. Oh, hold on. We have a masters men's physique number 84, Lauren.
Unfortunately, he didn't buy photos. So
Buy your photos.
So we can critique it. So if you want feedback, drop us a message.
I could still give him feedback
Yeah, let's go. Let's do that. I think it's we went this far.
in case he's watching. Um, yeah, I said really nice physique, touch more detail through the chest, and improve presentation. Yeah, I think that he was the only one in his category. So, sometimes it's difficult. Like if you have to walk on stage on your own, you kind of feel like, you know, there's no point in really overperforming. Sometimes pressure is a privilege and it makes you perform a wee bit better on stage. Sometimes it's at a detriment. But whenever you come out on your stage, if you're in the category on your own, you still have to come out and present yourself like you would if it had been a packed stage. That's the key. So just make sure that you get into the poses, hold them, and ultimately it's your opportunity to showcase the physique that you've built and the physique that you've peaked for that stage. So it doesn't matter if there's 1 or 10 in that category, just go out and perform it.
Yeah, I mean it's never nice going on stage yourself, and that's why it's nice sometimes when in PCA they'll put us on. Like I was there, I was in that position.
Yeah.
So you're kind of still getting a comparison, though it's slightly different, but you're still getting a comparison. It makes you still competitive. You want to look better than the other guys, especially if you're in the shorter class. It's
Yeah.
a nice way to do it. We will go with that was physique short. Now we're into
Who's that? Men's
physique short, I think.
men's physique short. Let's see. Men's physique tall.
Oh, yeah.
We don't have any short guys, I don't think. So we have 85 and 86, Blaine and Jamie.
There was 3 in this class, unless we had a short in this as well, potentially. Or is this maybe the Masters?
Yeah, that could be.
The Masters, potentially.
Yeah, I think that's probably what it is. That'll be 84 then, more than likely.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have these two, Blaine 85 and Jamie 86. So Jamie took the win, 86. Blaine was second. So let's just have a look here. Yeah, so with Blaine, I'd said really nice physique, touch more detail through the chest, and improve presentation.
That was our winner, was it? 86, this guy in the middle.
86 is the winner. Yeah. So I'd said great V taper and overall condition, long term, just sticking out what's already there. It's a great physique. So
back as well. Like I always like with the physique because often from the front you see some like when men physique guys walk out from the front, you're like, whoa. But
yeah,
then back and some it can be quite underwhelming at points. When you see a really good physique in the front, and you're just like, if they had a back. But this guy's quite, I think, fairly balanced actually, front to back. His shots are as they're not standing out as that's way better from the front than compared to the back, which is
yeah.
fun.
Yeah, I think he did a really good job. I think like most of the pieces are there. You just polish the pieces. That's what this game's about.
Yeah. And then our second place really was, there's more condition that can be brought there, and probably even a little bit more fullness through the delts as well. There when you see comparing, because he might have, we very well could have as much of a clavicular length, but it's just not maybe being posed the same. You can see that shoulder dripping a little bit. Potentially the hand's just a little bit too low in the waist, so it's not giving that pop to the delt by sitting a little bit higher. There's certain elements like that that can be brought up straight away just from posing. You can pop that delt more, you can pop that chest more, because the waist is actually quite small.
Yeah,
Even in comparison, actually to the winner, it's a smaller waist. It's just maybe lacks a little bit of condition and has a little bit less pop. But I think the hand position, if you can see the two, there's a difference there, and that would make a difference.
yeah. I think that's a very good bit of advice, Neil. Definitely, those are like literally a couple of inch adjustment changes how that pose looks. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to change the positioning, but ultimately the goal for all of us, as cheesy as it sounds, is to present our physique in the best way possible. And then from there, you've got your data here through the visuals, get your photos and go, right, well, these are the adjustments I need to make, and then bring that to the stage the next time.
Yeah.
But again, good potential or two.
We had a wellness class?
We have a wellness class. That would be 88 90, 91.
Wellness is thriving at the minute now.
So yeah, three of the ladies.
I think we had now from the first timers show, we had two of the girls, the two middle and right were in the first timers as well as the naturals. And then the girl on the left is just in the natural show.
Yeah, that's right. Um, so let's have a look here. Just make sure I've got the right ones. So we had Eva in third. Just get that up. There she is. Yeah, it's for me with Eva, it was like definitely a conditioning thing. Um,
Eva is number 90 or
Eva is 88.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Needs a, I would say like a good bit of conditioning needs to be improved here. But there's promise to I thought her talent was really good. I thought she actually looked like she enjoyed herself on stage, which is obviously really nice to see as well. But conditioning, she just needs time to stay a wee bit longer in that deficit, bring that to the stage.
And even with that, like obviously when conditioning is is a little bit more off, we're here to critique as well. It's like that can be a platform there. You can then it's not about maybe going into an off season now. It's about holding that level of condition and then pushing on. There's the later in the year shows as well. It's definitely something to look at and to go, okay, I've got to this level of condition because for all we know, again, we only judge on what we see, but for all we know, the context, there could have been a good lot of weight loss there anyways. I often see that. And then it's a matter of, okay, we got on stage, but it can drive you to then go on and go further. So I think that's something to like take out of that as well, is that there's potential there to go further. And there's a you can see the muscle in the quads. It's just having the condition to really show that. And I think that probably relates well to the second place girl as well, because there is a lovely shape there. And there's actually quite a bit of muscle. You can see that in the legs, you can see that in the glutes. It's just, and it's a condition aspect there. But I sort of looked at her and thought, you know what, with, proper condition, that's a really, really good wellness physique there, potentially.
Yeah, I concur with that. In the feedback, it said very nice structure overall. Condition should be improved to showcase the strengths better, and that's the absolute king. And it's what we've just mentioned there as well. But even it just needs more time in that deficit. It's not about trying to bring like a hard look to the stage, but part of wellness is obviously showing the muscularity and the likes of the glutes, the quads. We need to make sure that the condition is prevalent, so we're able to sort of see that development. So strip that down, but you can see even there she's got like a really nice little like tight waist, like small waist. If we just a wee bit more conditioning there, that could be a very impressive look. And I thought her posing was really really good as well.
Yep. Confident, very confident. So we touched in first place already, and to me, it's more. But we talked about that, but even you can see there that posing just a little bit more upright, in my opinion, and sitting back a little bit further into it.
Yeah, it's not good. Even from like the side poses, she's like crouched further forward. You don't need that. You need to sort of straighten up. Like you're almost like twisting around into that front stand leg. Like if she looks at the girl uh, to her left again,
Yeah.
names just went out of my head. Um, so that's the kind of position that you want. You can set that hip and then you're kind of rotating the torso slightly round into it and more upright. It needs to be more vertical rather than pronated here.
Yeah. Because I like the physique a lot. It's just the posing. I thought that it let it down, and
Yeah.
I can move up placings from posing alone because I thought her physique was actually very pretty impressive to me.
Well, I would hope to see, all three of them ladies later on in the year,
Yeah.
at further shows and be able to sort of see them coming out. So hopefully that's motivation coming out and seeing that improvement because it does matter.
And I think the judges see that too. If they've seen you before and you come back displaying a level of like quite a large level of improvement, like that's noted. It catches the eye, especially when you take the feedback on board.
Yeah.
The first, do we don't have fit model? I don't think, do we? First timers bikini.
First timers bikini, I think there's one, which is 92. Kirsty, I think.
Boyd, yeah. Kirsty, we'll just go on a couple of them. Remember this being a good physique. Yeah, I like this physique. She's a first timer. I love cap delts, love them,
Yeah.
especially bikini girl. It just showcases the frame, real small waist, tight waist, good level of condition, especially in that upper half as well. Uh, it's a physique I liked. Bottom half, I think there could be a little bit more, but that's me being pushy because I'm a condition fiend. So I'd be interested to hear your feedback with the condition side of things there, James.
I felt like her condition was on. I felt like there was posing from the rear that she could have showcased the condition better.
Right. Yeah.
And that you have to obviously understand whenever I'm sitting on that judging panel, I'm so close, so you can kind of see like what's moving, what's not moving, what's condition, what's muscle, what's not. I felt like her condition was actually pretty close to where it should be, but she just needs to sort of sit back a little bit more, anterior pelvic tilt on the legs of the hip. Pull that pelvis up a little bit. That's going to present the glutes a little bit more because you can actually see that there's a good glute shape,
Yeah.
but she's not really posing them as well as she could. And again, that's such a small tweak. But once again, this girl's walking out on stage on her own, and Kirsty, and looked brilliant. Thought
I
she was very good quality.
like these sort of photos here, like the sort of personality ones that shine through, especially in them physique classes too. It does catch the eye.
Yeah,
We have junior bikini.
juniors. So we've three, I think, again. 94, 95. Did we do these already? No.
We did. They were in it already, weren't they? We were in the natural show. We had the overall winner in that as well, didn't we?
Yeah,
I actually think we've touched on all three of them
yeah,
earlier.
yeah.
Yeah.
We did.
So one's enough. We'll go into
Well done, girls.
Masters 35 plus.
Bikini Masters. It says there's only two in the over 45s.
I think one was Joe, who we touched on, and
Yeah,
then second place finisher, which we'll try and touch on here as well.
which was Therese at number 97.
So obviously two in the class. We've touched on Joe. Well, there's three in this class, unless this was a Anderson. This girl was in something else, I believe.
Yeah. No, there's only two in this category. I'm pretty certain. Yeah.
She bikini tall potentially. Anyways, we'll go. Yes, obviously we had Joe touching her already, and then we've got Teresa here, I believe, in second.
Yeah. So yeah, Ad just says nice condition up top, needs a bit more condition in the lower half. Um, Felt like it's overall it was a nice performance. There were still a few sort of posing issues I think that could definitely be improved.
Yeah.
Like you can see there, like even just sort of sitting back on that hip a little bit more.
Yeah.
There's decent conditioning through the sort of midsection. As you can see, shoulders actually look pretty good. But again, the presentation could definitely be improved. Just anterior pelvic tilt, sitting back on that hip a little bit more is going to create like a better silhouette in those profiles. So those are things that are easily fixed short term.
Yeah, presentation was the thing that caught my eye, really, was not sitting into the glute very much. And then sometimes actually kind of shrugging the shoulders a little bit. And I think you can sort of see it in this pose, but sort of sitting a little bit high and not maybe taking, not giving that the frame, that top line, the symmetry and balance across it. That was really my main takeaways, from that, from Teresa, because, I thought like, again, 45 plus, there's a reasonable level of condition there. It's just even like here, like she's not sitting back into that glute very much. So it's kind of then flattening off her glutes a little bit. Especially when you compare maybe to Joey's sitting back a little bit more, albeit Joe could definitely open that back up again. I'll be saying that here again, but yeah. So yeah, you can see through the back and stuff. It was a nice level of condition. So
Yeah, just needed more condition in the lower half. That was really the feedback that I had sent her.
and then I'm interested to see who this girl is. So we had bikini short. Do we have a number for that?
93.
We don't have a 93 there. Bikini,
It says Nikki bikini short.
possibly not bought photos. Have we got bikini tall?
Let me see. Bikini tall, we have three: 101, 182, 190.
Imagine we'd have some of these. 101, 182. Okay, at the top. Right, that's why. Okay. I wonder why that wasn't in that then. So, because we've had there, I'm only getting this girl as in bikini tall.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's her name, James?
What number is she? Do you know?
Go from the front.
Any?
We have.
Yeah, there's a few of them that moved categories. You see,
when I said that we were picking up certain things.
I think is that Inga?
182.
182. Yeah, that's Inga. That's right. Yeah.
She, Inga had the potential to have a really good physique there. There's elements of it there. You can see through the legs. It's quite nice conditioning through the legs for bikini. The shoulders, arms. It's, I think, how she hit her poses. Sometimes, like, I mean, here you can see it. Like, she's really elongating, comparatively to, say, like Joe in this pose, who actually hides her midsection, which is a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
Inga's kind of nearly showcasing it rather than, disguising what, could be a potential more of a weakness there. So rather than showcasing the strength, she's kind of highlighting the weakness, in my thoughts there.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's what Nadia was saying about the posing and stuff as well. Like for me, the arm positioner is way too high, and that's like almost like overexposing and everything, and you kind of lose the flow to the delts. You just want them arms to sort of sit down a little bit. You want your humerus to be just sort of tucked down. Delts will cap a little bit more, as you said. Then the midsection, you're exposing that. Long term, I just says a wee bit more of a back taper would create an incredible silhouette. So again, if she can just, that's a lot, like slightly longer term project. Like with the next off season, just try to focus on a wee bit more density from the back, because otherwise the front pose actually looks really, really good. I thought her presentation actually was pretty good as well.
Yeah.
Across the board. I did say like some of the transitions could have been a little bit smoother, but look, you're sort of nitpicking those things, but it's still noteworthy in order for you to bring improvements to the next show as well.
I think with her structure and stuff, she's really good potential actually. And
Yeah.
there's a lot of elements there. It's just, I think with refinement, that could be that's a very competitive physique, to be
Yeah.
honest, with a few refinements there. So yeah, look good. Jamesy, we're going on to overalls here. We'll start with the females ones because we're in this it's in this file.
Let's go.
So we know the winner of the bikini overall
Yeah.
won the two swords. Again, if you were like, I mean, again, it's a fairly decent class there again in terms of like, that it's a tough. She stood out. She did stand out. Why was she the winner? I say she. I forgot her name, so that's why I said she.
Yeah. You just look at the overall X frame. Quite often, whenever you're like dealing with categories, weaknesses are glaring. Whenever you're sort of seeing like physiques on stage, and you have to be quite quick in how you're judging that. She's the least amount missing. Like for me, it's the most complete physique in the female categories of the day. Presentation, as I said, was really, really good. So all the short-term fixes are fixed, in terms of how she presented herself on stage. The tan looked great. The posing suit was really good. So all those things were well within control. The other stuff, condition was on point. Balance from top to bottom was really good. Front to back was really good. You have to nitpick again to find any flaws in that physique.
Yeah, the structure is just so good, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's that pose, like the teapot pose. Like it accentuates the delt as well, and just gives it a wee bit of everything, a wee bit of punch and a bit of pop.
Yeah. Yeah, great future pushing forward. Like, looking forward to hopefully seeing her again on stage this season.
And we'll just touch on the men's overall. Where was Morgan's? Was it Morgan the classics?
Yeah.
What number was he again, James?
Morgan was, where is it? 72.
Actually, just to round off with the male overalls in this. We have it. We'll get a front shot. Who gave him a run for his money? Who who were we sort of saying who was in line for this one?
I think Is that the junior in the blue trunks, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't remember his name. Let me see. Is that number 67?
Yeah.
Cathal. Yeah, I thought he was probably the closest to him because he's got that sort of wide. He's probably one of the widest there across that top line. So that kind of, it sort of stands out. I think Morgan just had a wee bit more maturity to the overall physique and was definitely, again, was the most complete physique on stage. Like you're nitpicking there once again. I'm like sort of going, we could have been sitting on the quads a little bit harder through the comparisons, not flickering them on. But those are just things that will come with the condition of the season as it unfolds. A little bit more improvement, as I said, marginal improvement in the condition in the rear.
He was a standout winner. I think he did catch the eye very, very quickly there with that as well. Yeah, he was a good quality there though. Good quality, and we done a good job there, James. I hope everybody's got some, took on some feedback. That was a shift there, but that was good. We got around everybody as best we could there, so we did.
Yeah. Look, we're stuck in it with a few, obviously, issues just earlier on that Neil had to sort of clear up before we went and got this recorded and stuff. And as always, we just want to finish off by saying, like, everybody did a phenomenal job. I loved the show, the energy, and I thought even in the auditorium was really, really healthy. A nice balance, and it was good to see some of the naturals that were shifting across into those first timers, like the untested as well. And it just goes to show, and there was just a nice sort of feeling backstage amongst all the competitors, and that's what we want to see at the PCA shows.
There's definitely a good camaraderie ship, and that's the thing I think PCA have done well. Like we've seen the show started to grow. Like it was a lot busier, like actually people watching and staying to watch, both the classes too.
Yeah.
Like shows a few years back, it was like there's not enough support there where it's starting to grow. There's more athletes coming in. PCA is doing more to actually get stuff out there with the workshops. And then like I think the level of feedback now that you can glean from obviously where you're giving it the personal touch of thing as well, like that's massive. Like as an athlete, all you want to do is improve. So like if you're taking that feedback on board, obviously watching this, taking it on board, like you're going to be a better athlete in the future. And that's all we ever want.
Yeah, look, I say this all the time because I know sometimes hearing critique that the chimp in the brain, if you've ever read The Chimp Paradox, the chimp in the brain gets a little bit rattled because any negative is an attack on something, whether it's visually or whatever else. This sport is, very different than everything else because the critique is personal if it's taken the wrong way. And whenever we're looking at the physique, all we're looking for is, giving somebody direction, setting the sat nav. Where do they need to go now? What have they got? Where do they need to go to that next level? And one of the things I'd said earlier on in the seminar, at the PCA seminar, was everybody in this room wants to go to their show this year and be complete and win everything. That's the dream. But in hindsight, of somebody that's served well over a decade competing in a lot of shows, I'm so glad that I was really incomplete in my first show and I won it.
Yeah.
And had a lot of smoke blown up my ass, but I had a lot of flaws in my physique. And I'm so glad for those flaws because that gave me the direction, that gave me the purpose then to go into another off season and keep refining that year after year. And you know yourself, Neil, that's what makes the sport so much better.
Yeah. It's the process, isn't it? It's the like you don't want to be the complete article, and no one really ever is either. I remember last year, like Jill Wade, we critiqued her. She's won everything they offer in the PCA, but there's still something that she can improve on, and that's why she gets better every year. And that's the same for anybody, including yourself. From the first timers right through to the PCA pros as well. So, mate, class, I appreciate like your time because that was a long one. I appreciate everybody that stuck in through that as well. People always ask for timestamps. That probably isn't going to happen. So have a wee scroll through. But obviously, I want to thank Nadia for coming on and giving up her time. She's done a lot in the last few years, really, to push this PCA as well. And it's something that I'm very proud now to be some sort of part of anyway. But James, again, for your feedback and obviously the work you put in terms of the feedback and coming on, mate, I really appreciate it.
Yeah, anytime, mate. It's been a privilege to come on, privilege to judge, privilege to give everybody their feedback, and then it's great that you're doing this, making this possible on this platform as well, mate. So keep up the good work.
So guys, obviously give it a watch. Please do actually push it on your socials as well. Give it a tag, give it a share in your stories. It means a lot. Hit me with a follow because that builds a bit of something, makes me go again. All right. So thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it.